Well, that was odd, Michelle. So Fester was in here early, and then he just split? Yeah. Hold on. Your microphone's not working.
Sorry.
Yeah, where were you? Oh, is your mic nowhere near your face?
Nowhere near my face.
Oh, okay. Now you've moved your mic near your face.
Fire me.
Hold on. Whoa. What are these headphones you're wearing now?
Oh, yeah. I got to put the other one.
Hold on. What are you... Wait a
Sorry.
Sorry. What's going on here? Then I look over, you just have earbuds in. What were those connected to?
My phone.
Oh, Fester's back. All right, so, dude, what are you doing?
We got all kinds of things going.
Hold on. You were here early, which was a shocker. I look up, and Fester was actually here 2 minutes before the show opens.
Oh, much to my surprise.
And then... We start the program, and I look up, and you're gone.
We have Michelle's never seen it. We have a morning show, quote-unquote, office.
I don't want to see it.
Which essentially is an abandoned office. There's nothing in it. And I keep my headphones in there, and I had to go over and get my headphones, and that's it. Nothing very exciting.
It's not very exciting.
No, nothing exciting at all.
Not very exciting. Hey, I just logged into the kids' Spotify account.
Okay.
Because I found an item over the weekend about there's a track. There's a music track on Spotify that is supposed to slash any stress that you have by 65%.
Oh, that's a very specific number.
I'm calling absolute BS on this turd. All right. So I'm logged in. So I can't wait to try this experiment. So if you are stressed beyond belief, well, if you listen a little later, you might be able to reduce that stress by 65%. That's a very specific number, by the way. Speaking of stress, hurricane season officially started yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, June 1. Also, all my freaking credit card bills were due yesterday. June 1! Well, every month. You know what I did? I moved all of my credit card bills so it's the same exact day, and I just made it the first of the month. Because, your credit card... Hold on. What are you giving me a look for, Michelle?
Because old school MJ didn't want that. I suggested that to you years ago, like, just make everything do the same day. You go, I don't want all that money going out on the same day. No. So I'm surprised to hear this. This is news to me.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
You're making that up.
Nope.
I never said that. No, it's just you can remember because I've got an American Express, I've got a Visa, I've got a MasterCard, and
Diners Club.
I do not have Diners Club or Carte Blanche
any longer.
And I don't have a I never had a Diners Club. It was my dad and grandfather crap. Diners Club. Remember
Discover.
And I was just about to say that. And I do not have a Discover card because those bastards can suck it because they denied me in college. Yeah, my first credit card application was a Discover card, and they rejected me. They said, nope. No. I applied for an American Express card, and I got that green American Express card in the mail just a few weeks later. American Express took a chance on me. If you change your mind, I'll be first in line. Take a chance on me. Yeah. So American Express took a chance on me. And I don't know, every time I call in for something, they say, thank you for being a member for 38 years or whatever the hell it is. Because I got my first credit card in 1987 is when I got my first credit card, and it was Amex and Discover. They said, piss off, little schnit.
Yes.
And never had a Discover card. I never will. And now, you know the deal, I think we even mentioned this, that Capital One, what's in your wallet, they're buying Discover card. So what's in your wallet? I'll tell you right now, Capital One, what's in my wallet? It's not going to be a Discover card.
No Discover card.
Even though you guys are, anyway, so stress. Hurricane season, I de-stressed myself because I moved all my credit card bills to one day. Because, what I was about to say is, it's scattered. It's sort of like the day you get your card or when they open up the account, that tends to be like the floating day of the month that your credit card bill is due. And I don't know if a lot of people know this. So if, let's say you have an American Express and it's due on the 8th of the month, you've got a Visa card and that one, that's due on the 22nd of the month. And then you got another, maybe a MasterCard, that's due on the 17th. Listen, you can call your credit card company and tell them, hey, can you please move my payment due date to, and if you want it the 1st, if you want it the 15th, so you can kind of consolidate. It just makes it easy that you know that everything is due the same day, and thereby you're not going to be late on the payment. You're not going to incur the late fee and, all that crap. And listen, I know that a lot of folks can't do this, but I make sure that I pay off my credit card every month. I do not carry a balance. I always subscribe to the fact that if I can't afford it, I'm not going to charge it. And that goes back to, days when I was much, less financially successful, just kind of always adhered by that because I never wanted to pay over that usurious interest rate, et cetera.
This was some hot credit card talk this morning.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Is that the same as my philosophy with money?
What is your philosophy, Michelle, with money?
If you have to ask the price, you can't afford it.
Oh, stop. I hate that. That is that is the most pretentious crap. And Michelle, you're being facetious.
Yeah, I know. There's some movie line, obviously.
No, that's been around for a long time. That stupid saying, if you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. Anyway, so I traveled yesterday. Listen, it's not Spirit Airlines' fault, but kind of sat on an airplane for about 4 hours before we took off from Fort Lauderdale.
Boy.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the Spirit MJ honeymoon to be over.
No, listen, like I just said,
I know.
It wasn't Spirit's fault.
But you'll always think of Spirit when you associate it with this.
No, I won't. What's the matter with you? No, I'm not holding it against Spirit, but I did sit on the plane for about 4 hours yesterday. Yeah, because I was leaving Fort Lauderdale, coming back to Tampa Bay.
Why would they even board you?
Well, because at that point, we didn't know that there was going to be all the backed up, the delays, the rerouting, then the ground stuff. You know what? Hold on. I don't want to get too late here. We're just getting started. It is 6:08. It is Monday morning. It is a very busy show with hurricane season starting yesterday. Dennis Phillips, Mr. Suspenders, will join us at 8:30 this morning. So Dennis Phillips live on the MJ Morning Show at 8:30 this morning. Kind of pick his brain, see what's going on. I know there's a lot of anxiety. Speaking of stress, people are kind of stressed out. Hurricane season. No name storms churning, 4th year in a row that is in effect. So no, name storms as we start hurricane season. That's happened 4 years running now. But obviously it didn't do much for us last year. So not really an indicator. 6:09, just getting started. Back in a second. I'll explain fun with air travel and weather from yesterday. Next, plus a whole lot more crap. MJ Morning Show, Q105. Traffic's on. Back in a minute. We're still... It is the MJ Morning Show on Q105, 104.7 FM, 619. MJ, Fester, Michelle. I did travel to see my dad this weekend. Julian went with me. Also, some fun activity, which ended up on my Instagram. So it always seems that when I go to my parents' house, there's some instant content. And there was within a 6-foot radius.
All right.
I shot 2 videos. Michelle, did you see any of the videos that I shot at my parents' house, did you check out my Instagram?
I did not.
Oh, great. My own freaking wife is not checking out my Instagram.
We want to be surprised when we come into work.
Do you even follow me at Certified MJ Radio?
I'm sure you have accessed my phone and made me follow you.
I don't have access to your phone. I mean, I guess you're.
I follow the elephants.
What's the latest with the elephant? Oh, have the eagles fledged yet? Have the eagles left the nest in Big Bear in California?
No. I think one of them did like a 3-second or something they call it. Like it got
a wing flap?
Right. It was up on another branch. And so then it did the thing and it got blown back into the nest safely.
What's the
thing? It took off for a couple of seconds and it levitated.
Yeah.
It levitated.
It did
like 3.3 seconds.
Like a supernatural thing?
Yeah.
It levitated. Woo!
It didn't exactly fly, but it left the branch for more than a few seconds, which is a good sign. One seems to be progressing faster than the other one.
They think the younger one, and they think they're both girls.
Oh, why is that? Why do they think they're both girls?
Like size and what is this? What the feet are called something special?
The talons?
Yeah, like their feet and like it's all size related.
Okay.
And so they think that they're both females.
Oh,
they're
excellent.
sisters.
The Big Bear, what is the cam called? Is it the Eagle Cam or?
Big Bear Bald Eagle Live Nest Cam.
There we go, out in California.
Type in Big Bear Eagle. It'll come
All right,
up.
so if you haven't checked my Instagram, folks, I always encourage you, listen, take advantage of my Instagram now, because when I finally decide to leave radio, which could happen at the end of the year when my contract's up, when I finally decide to leave radio, I'm shutting everything down because I really kind of hate social media. I think it has been a net negative on humanity, but it is a companion to the show, and it enables me to produce content even outside of Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. here on the MJ Morning Show. So I do highly encourage you to follow me on Instagram, Certified MJ Radio, and I'll get into this in more depth and detail later. We'll play some audio, but two videos that I posted up on Instagram over the weekend at my parents' house, before I even get to the little travel snafu yesterday. Number one is you're not going to believe just what happened, just crap within a 6-foot radius in my parents' house. So Julian finds some crazy can of like fire suppressant jammed in the sofa of the couch upstairs.
Oh my God.
It's like flame stopper. It's just like a spray can, like a can of, some kind of aerosol.
Those work. I mean, you're supposed to keep them like underneath your sink or something.
Well, no, you should have a fire extinguisher, like a real fire extinguisher.
No, that's not the case. A real fire extinguisher will screw your kitchen up.
No, it depends on whether it's a chemical extinguisher or whether it's a different type of fire suppressant.
For a small stovetop fire, these work fine.
So Julian finds just jammed in the couch. He's sitting down and like, what's that hard thing on him? And it's on the side, like wedged down into the sofa. He then pulls out. It's like magical, like sofa extractions. Just stick your hand in and see what you pull out. In many cases, it's like change or Oh, you know what sucks? Oh my God! One time I jammed my hand like in the corner of the sofa to get change, and there was like a needle in there. It was like a pin.
Oh.
Yeah, like oh my son of a, think you're gonna get a handful of like change and crumbs.
Get a handful of blood.
I got exactly. I got stuck with like a needle. A pin was jammed in there. All right, so he finds the flame stopper. Then, right next to this sofa, this is on the upper floor. My parents have like a 3-floor townhouse.
Yeah, townhouses are really, really good purchases for older folks.
It made no sense at all.
Are there no ranch-style houses in Florida they could have been happy with?
Dude, they moved out of a 1-story home in Palm Beach Gardens and moved closer to my brother in Fort Lauderdale. And my dad is 82, has not been out of bed since November with his issues.
Right.
My mom is starting to slow down. Yeah, that was a smart purchase to buy a 3-floor freaking condo or a townhouse. Dumbest damn thing in the world. It does have an elevator, though. So and then they did install the Acorn stair lift. Well, not that brand, but they did install a stair lift when my dad was starting to have really tough times. So stupid real estate purchase, to get a 3-story townhouse, whatever. So on the top floor, that's where this sofa was located. And right next to the sofa, my dad, for whatever reason, has to have an ice maker and a fridge on every floor.
Good for him.
So,
that's living the life.
Yeah. So he has this fridge. Julian opens up the fridge and nothing's cold. And of course, Julian wants to know, why the hell is this damn fridge not cold? Well, it turns out there is an Arctic ice shelf that is built up behind all the cans of Coke and Diet Coke and Sprite and water. So he takes everything out, and there is like a 6-inch thick ice buildup that's like 1.5 feet high. It's like 4, 5, 6 inches thick. And a couple of cans were actually embedded inside the ice, kind of like finding a woolly mammoth.
Yeah, just like that.
Or a frozen Neanderthal. All these, thousands of years later. So he finds some of the soda cans embedded in the ice, and one is exploded.
Oh.
The aluminum can ripped open like an airplane accident.
But all the parts, all the fluid's still frozen in there.
Inside, this is on my Instagram. Inside, the frozen Coke looks like brains.
Oh, gross.
It is crazy. So, and then, wait a minute. Then they have a TV that you can't shut off. Or, I'm sorry, my parents have a note on the TV, do not shut this TV off. And it's been on for 4 years.
That's right. I mean, listen, it's fine. TVs can run forever, essentially.
That is not true. I mean, that is not true.
They have like X amount of hours. It's like 10 years nonstop. You can run a TV.
You're just pulling a figure out of your butt.
Well, doesn't it like shut down to like the picture mode where?
No, it does not. So there's no
ours does.
It's like a screensaver.
Yeah. That's what ours does.
You can turn that on and off. Anyway, they have some off-brand piece of crap upstairs, and there's a piece of copy machine paper with a handwritten note that says "Do not turn off," and it's been on for years
because it won't come back on after they turn it off.
Well, I asked my mom, and she said, "Well, it takes about 30 times to get it back on." So we just leave it on. But I mean, no one goes up there. But they just leave the TV on.
What do they have running?
Anyway, it was on ABC because when I videoed this thing, Jimmy Kimmel was on Friday night. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel was on. So it was on ABC.
ABC thinks they have like a hot zip in the South Florida, and all it is just some old people never shutting their TV off.
This is ABC.
Yep, this is ABC.
This is ABC.
Yeah. So in 6 foot radius, the TV that you can't turn off, a fire suppressant can jammed up Julian's butt, and then the crazy, iceberg freezer fridge, whatever you want to call it, with a Coke can exploded that looks like brain matter inside. So if you want to see this video, it is on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio. Oh, and then there was a hit and run. People comment like, oh my God, there's always something happening when you go to your parents' house. There was a hit and run on my parents' property, and some car smashed into one of their trees, plowed over the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit sign, shredded their grass, blasted out a bunch of shrubs, and then left car parts all over the road, and then fled the scene. So that I shot a video on that as well as we go out for the aftermath. So 2 crazy videos on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. Now, what I originally teased was my hair travel yesterday, and it was not Spirit's fault. So Fester, don't even blame Spirit on this. It wasn't their fault. It was all weather related, and we had a little bit of rain roll through the area. I think later in the day here, but for whatever reason, in the last couple of days, the weather pattern is really moving to the south. So I know that today, and it might even be happening now, like Bradenton, Sarasota, getting some weather, but yesterday it was really more to the south, and huge bands were rolling across. I would say Fort Myers, Naples, over toward Fort Lauderdale, and I had a 7:22 flight out of Fort Lauderdale yesterday morning. I would have been back, 8 o'clock, wheels down, Tampa Bay, but no. the weather. So we pushed back early. Flight was like 7:22. We pushed back a couple of minutes early, and then we sit. Air traffic control all jammed up. Bunch of cells a little bit north of Fort Lauderdale, coming from the west, heading toward Fort Lauderdale. I went to my, radar scope weather app, and it was all jammed up and all little blinking. It was, reds and oranges and yellows, and it was just a mess. And, they could have threaded the needle, but, air traffic control and all that, all the way they figured all, the airspace out. So we're sitting there because we had to get rerouted. So we're sitting, on the taxiway and the engines are, on. People don't realize, like, how much fuel is used when you taxi or you just idle. You burn a lot of jet fuel, kerosene, Jet A.
Yeah,
right?
I guess I never really thought about it.
So you do. So here's the deal. We sat for a while, for like 30, 40 minutes or so.
Right.
And then we hear, folks, sorry for the delay.
No, do it right.
Air traffic control is going to reroute us. We're going down to Key West first. So,
all right.
So the original routing was we were going to head from Fort Lauderdale south all the way down to Key West and then make a right turn and come right up the west coast of the state into the Tampa Bay area.
Oh, they weren't giving you like a 5-hour layover in Key West? How awesome would that have been?
So,
yeah, really.
So here's the deal. That never happened.
Oh.
Why? Because I guess the weather changed a little bit. Then we had to go back to the gate to get more fuel. So we didn't have enough gas, apparently, to safely get to Tampa. And, of course, with commercial aviation, I believe it's your intended destination, and then you need 2 alternative airports in which you can land in the event of an emergency or weather issues. So we didn't have enough gas, I guess, to safely get to Tampa after sitting around and idling and waiting. So we had to go back to the gate. So we get back to the gate, takes half an hour for the fuel truck to arrive because all these other planes had to go back and get gas as well that were sitting around. So we get more jet fuel. We're just sitting there, and then we hear, pop, total ground stop. So then there was a total ground stop in Fort Lauderdale. Anyway, we got in at noon. I should have been in at 8 a.m. We finally landed Tampa at noon yesterday. So we were on the airplane for like 4 hours.
Who was your third person?
What are you talking about?
Because it was you and Julian sitting
Yeah.
next to each other. And did you have like a big stinky man next to you or like a big fat guy in the row?
No, it was just coming back. There was just some guy in the window seat. We had aisle and middle, and there was some guy that he just watched his iPad. He was watching movies the whole time. He didn't say a word to us.
You lucked out there.
Didn't say boo. So, fun with air travel yesterday. Totally not Spirit's fault. There was just complete weather-related crap yesterday. 6:33 at the MJ Morning Show. I have the morons in the news. Oh, I look forward to this every single day. Morons in the news next on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105, 104.7 FM. When your air conditioning goes kaflooey, when your air conditioning is not blowing cold, what do? You call Plan B air conditioning. We're getting into, obviously, the repetitive days of heat and humidity. The heat domes that we've had recently. If your air conditioning fails, I'm going to give you the tip right now. And your air conditioning might be working very well right now, but I'm telling you, don't be one of the folks that say, oh, man, what's that air conditioning company that MJ talks about? Put it in your phone now, because when you are going to need it, and you will, that is a guaranteed fact. Your air conditioning is going to break at some point, and you're going to need reliable service that I, MJ, recommend, and that's Plan B Air Conditioning. You mention me, MJ, they'll give you 10% off. Remember, mention the MJ Morning Show, get 10% off sales and service. If you need a new AC unit, they'll beat any other company by at least $500. But mostly people need service, and that's Plan B Air Conditioning. PlanBAirConditioning.com, 813-PLAN-BAC, and tell them MJ sent you. So, Fester, anything new on the car wreck front? Listen, if there's nothing new, you don't have to make up crap.
No, there's nothing new.
All
but
right.
This process takes, weeks. It's not a quick process.
Oh, I realize that.
Out.
I know that it's not going to get resolved like in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But Fester has an issue. Well, Fester's wife.
Well, lady has an issue.
Fester's wife was rear-ended by an Uber in downtown Tampa, $7,000 in damage. A little over $7,000. The car came back, last week, and that was the bill. And her neck and back were all jacked up. She was smacked by an Uber. To do $7,000 worth of damage, you can see you might get torqued a bit. So they've retained the Kemp Law Group, which is a fine sponsor here on the MJ Morning Show. Accident or fall, you call Kemp Law. If you've been hit by a vehicle, rear-ended, T-bone, just some reckless F that's just driving around, doing everything but driving, and then your property is damaged, your body is injured, you call Kemp Law. You don't pay a dime until they recover. What about a fall? Slip and falls? Kemp Law as well. Accident or fall, you call Kemp Law. KempLaw.com. Tell them MJ sent you. Traffic's on at 6:35. Let's grab Shriner with the latest MJ Morning Show and the Morons in the News next.
I-4 westbound starts to slow around Memorial Boulevard.
It's the early Morons in the news at 6:40 here on the MJ Morning Show. You know, I feel like a teacher having to tell Michelle and Fester to stop talking in class. You guys are just yakking.
We're friends, buddy.
Yeah,
Even when we're coming back from like a break, you guys are just yak. You know, it's like the teacher that has to tell the friends in class to shut up, you know?
We're making plans.
Yeah, we'll shut up for this next segment while you talk more about airplanes and staying on tarmacs and weather delays.
I was just talking about real life and what happened yesterday.
Let's talk about real life. How's Dad doing?
Dad is the same. Just
I'm asking.
Has not been out of bed really in 6 months. It's crazy.
Is he still
more than that since November? What is that?
Yeah.
December, January, February, March, April, May. What?
You missed counting November because it was like November.
Oh, no. Oh, you're right. So November, December,
months,
January. It's been a while.
All right, so
it sucks.
Is he still ordering rando items off of the internet?
That apparently has stopped.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. So I think they might have done something like shut off some accounts or whatever. Yeah, because he was just sitting in bed and ordering all kinds of crap off of Amazon and Temu and all that garbage. All right, early Morons in the news. Let's go. Staffer. You know what? And this is kind of close to home. A staffer has been sentenced for ripping off elderly patients in the Villages in a hospital.
Oh, not the Villages.
You know, you hear these awful stories. And I remember over the years, like nurses or orderlies or, hospital workers that have like stolen jewelry off of elderly patients. Listen, I don't think it's very common, but it has happened. What?
It happened to your aunt, like your great aunt or something over in Hollywood.
I don't remember that. Oh, tell me that.
It was like, I don't know, one of those aunts that lived with your...
Oh, that was a home health aide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She stole,
hold on to that. Let me finish this, and then we'll morph into that. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, even the ATM and the jewel, all that crap, the pawn shop? Oh, yeah. All right, hang on. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, this kind of sucks. A former staffer at the hospital in the Villages, according to the Villages News, sentenced for ripping off elderly patients. Jamari Bishop, 28 of Ocala.
Come on, Jamari.
Come on. Placed on probation for 4 years after pleading no contest last week in Sumter County Court to charges of theft and fraud. He had already served 4 days in jail at the time of his arrest. This is back in February. I'm sorry. I mean, that seems pretty light to me. The daughter of an 88-year-old woman notified law enforcement that $100 in cash and a Wells Fargo debit card were stolen from her mother's purse while she was a patient at UF Health Spanish Plains Hospital in the Villages. The daughter found that there had been unauthorized transactions on the debit card. Oh, so he even either found the PIN or...
A lot of times you can hit the button to skip the PIN.
Or what?
No.
What the hell? What the hell are you talking about?
You don't use a debit card, do you?
Yes, there's no button to skip the PIN.
No, there is.
At an ATM?
A lot of places I don't put my PIN in. I don't put my PIN in at Publix.
Wait a second. How do you not?
Like to make a purchase?
Well, you can use it as like a.
I'm talking about you go to the bank. You take to an ATM, an automated teller machine.
Okay, there you have to put your PIN in. But
that's what I'm saying.
To use it around town to fill your tank up with gas or to buy new pair of shoes.
Right. So if you use your debit card, as in some places you don't have to put in your PIN. I get it.
Yeah.
Well. For instance, with my credit union debit card, which is also the ATM. So for the credit union that we belong to,
but
I could put the card in the machine to get cash out at an ATM if I do, and I very rarely use an ATM. But you have to put in a PIN for that. If I go to a store and I use it as a debit, I think PIN is required. Yeah, because when I use... what is it? Is it Costco that only takes Visa? All right. So when I go to Costco, I can't use American Express and I can't use MasterCard. Those are my main credit cards, American Express and MasterCard. It happens that my debit card for our credit union is a Visa. So at Costco, when I use that, that comes up as a debit, and I always have to put in my PIN at Costco.
Okay, well, he used it at Circle K, and apparently you don't need to use a PIN at Circle K.
Yeah, right. I mean, I go to Circle K. I practically work there. They should change it to, they should change it to Circle F for Fester. I tell you, I love Circle K.
Or fat.
Well, that's appropriate, actually. Yeah, it works.
What do you get the employee discount at Circle K?
They know me by name.
Right,
they're like, hey, fat guy in the black car.
All right, so this turd, ripped off this 88-year-old woman's debit card. Used it at a nearby Circle K. Video surveillance was obtained from Circle K, and it showed the man with tattoos wearing a bracelet making a purchase with the 88-year-old woman's debit card. The man, later identified as Bishop, had been employed at the hospital, was also implicated in other thefts. 75-year-old man said he was admitted to the hospital and his wallet remained in his pants, which were placed in a plastic bag on a top shelf in his room, and he later discovered a $186 charge on his Visa card at Get in the Zone, AutoZone. So this dude charged $186 at an AutoZone in Ocala. Then a 64-year-old guy reported that his iPhone Discover debit card and Michigan driver's license had been stolen while he was in the hospital, and there had been $1,124 in unauthorized charges on his Discover card, including a $606 purchase at Walmart in the Villages.
So this guy has a history of robbing old people.
Yeah, this guy thought that, oh man, these old people in the hospital, they're sitting ducks.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna know that I stole their debit card and I ran up, charges at AutoZone or Walmart or wherever, Circle K. What a piece of crap. And you're telling me he's only getting probation?
I mean, if you're gonna rob,
what kind of justice is that, Fester?
Well, he did spend 4 days in jail.
That's not enough.
I know. I agree.
What are you going to say if you're going to rob?
If you're going to rob old people, if you're going to do that, and we can't talk you out of doing that, the Villages are the place to go.
Why are you giving tips out? What's the matter with you?
I'm not giving tips. I mean, Jamari would give you the same tip. If Jamari was here, he'd be like, facts.
I don't want Jamari's tips. I want Jamari to be in jail for more than 4 days.
I'm just pointing out something that might be obvious to some or not obvious to others.
Anyway, back to my great aunt, Aunt Sylvia.
Oh, yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, it was Aunt Sylvia.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name.
So my aunt had a home health aide that ripped her off. I mean, just...
Well, the first thing that they started to realize was that, she takes Aunt Sylvia out every day for her outings.
Yeah.
And it included shopping at Dillard's.
Yeah, and going to the Barnett Bank or what was it? Whatever her bank was.
The bank was.
But she would go to Dillard's and there'd be all these Dillard's bills.
Oh, yeah.
But what was there for Aunt Sylvia?
There was nothing.
Maybe one or two things.
Yeah.
But then this lady had a whole new wardrobe.
Oh, yeah. Aunt Sylvia was taking her out shopping like all the time.
They would stop and eat lunch and eat dinner your aunt. And then
you want to go shopping, and the shopping was for the aide.
Yeah. And then eventually, I think somebody went and did some inventory and saw that some of the jewelry was missing. And that's how they realized, I think, that the extent of the theft.
Yeah, Aunt Sylvia Fester had extensive jewelry. She was pretty well off.
Yeah.
And a lot of the jewelry was gone. But it wasn't just like charges at stores. It was also cash missing as well.
Right.
So apparently some of the outings were, let's go to the bank and take cash out.
Right. And you can always, as you were saying, Fester, you can always get the cash back. So whenever they went somewhere and you could get cash back, they were getting the cash back for sure.
Do you remember, I don't think they were able to completely financially, forensically figure out how much that Aunt Sylvia's home health care aide ripped off. But they know it was like tens and tens of thousands. I think one of the numbers I heard was in excess of like 75 grand or something.
Oh, man, what a scam.
Yeah. And I think the jewelry was the most, the biggest loss to them, right? Because it was jewelry that like either she had acquired. And, this was almost 30 years ago now, right? So, the jewelry was kind of like that heirloom, jewelry that you would hand down. And so that's just gone.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And did she pay some restitution? I know that she was investigated, but I don't think she was prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law as she should have been. And I remember she was so sweet to all of us.
Oh, we all loved her. She was just the
You know
best.
what? That's the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yep.
She was so nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she made sure that she took care of Aunt Sylvia so well in front of, we were I was what? Well, technically, she was my great aunt. So here I'm a great nephew.
Yeah.
My mom is the niece.
Yeah.
And this aide, what was her name? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I
can see her in my head, like, with your aunt, but
every time you saw her, she was putting on a show.
She was she was treating my aunt so well, and that was the buzz. Oh my God, she's a godsend.
The best.
She's the best home health care aide. Oh, it's so lucky we found her.
I mean, she got your aunt out all the time, which is a big thing. When you have an elderly person, you want to get them out so that they're engaged and they're going places.
I mean, she could have got away with the shopping and the expensive lunches probably forever.
Oh,
but
forever.
when you start stealing the jewelry, you're taking stuff from around the house, and she got too greedy.
Yep,
so
you're right, Fester.
I'm sure when you add it all up, it's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars because I don't think they have any idea how much of the jewelry disappeared. But who uncovered it? Was it my aunt? Was it my Aunt Andy?
I think so, because she was.
Because
she's the accountant.
So my Aunt Andy, also sister of my mom, niece of Aunt Sylvia. She's a CPA or was a CPA, retired now, and she figured out that some things were awry, and then started unraveling stuff and found all the bills and. Let's go for another outing. Oh, and that was part of the talk. Oh, she's getting Aunt Sylvia out of the house so much.
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Aunt Sylvia's exhausted.
To go bilk her, to go bilk Aunt Sylvia and rip off, her credit cards.
Don't take me to Dillard's again.
Right?
Not the mall.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But after that, Aunt Sylvia made a miraculous recovery, and she's celebrating her 102nd birthday in August.
No, they took a trip to the Grand Canyon, and mysteriously her wheelchair rolled off the south rim.
Oh, stop.
That's how I want to go.
I'm sorry, it didn't happen. I completely made that up.
Aunt Sylvia.
Oh, by the way, in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, they're trying to figure out how a casket ended up on the side of the road.
I'll tell you how.
You see some weird roadside stuff, man. All the crap you see on the side of the highways and byways. How about a coffin?
Was anybody in it? Was it occupied?
A casket left abandoned on the side of the road. They're trying to figure out if it was a prank or whatever. Well, the casket was empty. To answer your question, there was not a body inside. You know what? If you're going to leave a casket on the side of the road, at least juice it up and take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Corpse inside the casket. That would make it even more interesting. No, but the casket was empty, and they don't know why. They have no idea. They don't have any leads. This is up in Maryland. This is Prince George's County, and suddenly casket, side of the road, just sitting there. The hell?
Put the person in.
They have no idea. Why the hell the casket?
Wait until they put a YouTube video out of some prankers just sitting in the weeds videoing the response.
You know what? Those prank videos are it's ridiculous. And, if you end up in a doom scroll, like on Instagram, for instance, or I'm sure it's the same deal on TikTok, which I don't use TikTok, just the garbage. Like on my Instagram, there's just a guy that started a lawnmower in the parking lot of a McDonald's and then pushes the running lawnmower inside McDonald's and starts pretending to mow the tile floor in McDonald's. It's not funny.
You're laughing.
All right. 6:54 at the MJ Morning Show. We start the 7 o'clock hour next. I got a nasty revenge story. A nasty romantic revenge story and a whole lot more next on the MJ Morning Show on Q105, 104.7 FM. 7 o'clock exactly. By the way, I always strive for a true 7 o'clock hour start. Sometimes get a little late, go long in the last segment. You get to 7:01, 7:02, but we have arrived. All right, Fester. Yeah. I didn't know that you once hit one of these things.
I did.
All right, hold on. I'll get to that in a sec. I got a couple of Fester-centric things today, including the best story of the day. The absolute best. We got to have you go and test it out.
All right, what is it?
Oh, you'll find out. Oh, this is a teaser. This is why you want to be listening to the program during our long chunk, because at 7:25 or so, we're going to start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ. No commercials, no music, just nonstop content. So my favorite story of the day is coming up in just a bit. First, though, I mentioned before the break that I have a really whacked-out revenge story. Oof. Sugar, syrup, slashing. Woman destroys car.
I was about to say, it sounds really kinky if you ask me.
No, there's nothing kinky about wrecking a car with syrup and sugar and slashing. All this because of a little romantic situation gone awry.
I'd say you could wreck me with some syrup, sugar, and slashing.
I thought that Cajun Fester might want to comment on this when you get the facts, because it's a Louisiana woman. Used sugar and chocolate syrup to wreck a vehicle.
Would that really damage a vehicle if you put chocolates? Wouldn't it just wash off?
Well, why don't you listen to the facts and stop jumping the gun over there, smart guy? So, I guess it was a fight between a shared romantic partner.
A shared romantic partner.
Mel Ridney. That's her name. First time I've ever heard that first name. Mel Ridney.
You don't know any Mel Ridneys?
Hey, like the script spelling bee. Michelle, can you spell Mel Ridney? Just take a shot at it.
Melridny.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're ejected in the first round. It's Melridney. So
that's what I was gonna say.
So close.
You should have had him use it in a sentence.
So Mel.
Is it a noun or a verb?
Let me use this in a sentence. Mel Ridney Robinson just turned a car into a dessert buffet and demolition site all in one go, according to the Shreveport, Louisiana Popo Fester.
Let me tell you something. I know the police chief down there in Shreveport. And he know about Mel Ridney, too.
Who works in Shreveport?
I know the police chief.
You know the Shreveport. By the way, my brother used to live in Shreveport because he did like a year during his medical training. He did a year at LSU.
Let me tell you, Shreveport, Louisiana is just a beautiful city.
No, it is not.
It is a beautiful...
Shreveport and Bossier City are absolute crotch dumps.
It's
all right?
Up and coming in Louisiana.
They are not. I've been there. Shreveport and Bossier City, they are pits. All right? So here's the deal.
We don't know about Mel Ridney for a long time, though. She a lot to handle.
Yeah. So Shreveport police wrote on Facebook, sugar syrup and slashing, oh my. Oh, you see what they're doing there? Little lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Yeah, they're trying to do Wizard
Speaking of the
Oz.
Tigers.
Wizard of Oz. There go Tigers. Go Tigers, that's right. It's our favorite.
Robinson this is Mel Ridney, Michelle, Melridney, faces felony property damage charges for allegedly slashing all 4 tires of the vehicle, breaking off both side mirrors, shattering the windshield, pouring chocolate syrup everywhere, and dumping sugar in the gas tank.
Oh,
it's the old sugar in the gas tank trick, huh?
The old sugar in the gas
Oh,
tank.
there's no banana on the tailpipe trick. The what?
That'll really mess up your engine, right?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I've
The
always-
sugar in the tank, right?
Yeah.
You want a tiger in the tank, go LSU Tigers.
Listen, go Tigers. Here.
Remember what gas brand had the tiger in the tank?
Exxon.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, we knew that because of the oil spill.
Do you remember back when I was a kid, maybe a teenager, Exxon stations, I don't know if they gave them out or you bought them.
A little plushy tigers or something?
No, they sold tiger tails. And you would dangle the tiger tail from your gas tank.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you think I'm making this up?
Well, it was.
But hold on, Michelle. Do you think I'm lying?
That just sounds
Fester,
ridiculous.
go to the Googles. It was ridiculous, but it's true. Exxon station sold tiger tails.
Ooh.
Look, Fester found the picture. Look at this.
Okay, that's just gross.
Yeah, it's like a little plushy tiger tail that
Yes.
you put around your gas cap, and it's a tiger in your tank.
It was a plush, like stuffed animal, just the tiger tail. And that was their whole thing. Put the tiger in your tank because Exxon's mascot was like a Bengal tiger. So they sold or gave out these tiger tails, and people would be driving around with the tiger tails flapping in the wind, dangling out of their gas tanks on the side of their cars.
That's just weird.
It is weird.
I mean, who's like... I'm speechless.
Fester found one on eBay for $39 right now.
Oh, this is an original one. They're saying it's vintage.
Yeah, vintage original Esso Exxon mirror hanging tiger tail. So wait a minute, were you supposed to hang it from your mirror first, and then it turned into people were dangling them from their gas tanks?
I don't know. It has a little loop on it so you could hang it around the mirror.
I'm trying to remember what year. It might have been like the mid or early 80s, because it seems to me, I think I remember like Virginia Beach, when I was a kid or, preteen or just into teen years. I think I remember seeing the tiger tail. Go back. Is there anything online? I know you're on eBay, but is there anything online about the history of this thing? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it right here.
I read it. What does it say?
It was a tiger tail, a promotional item featuring a tiger tail attached to a car's trunk. And it was a key part to the put a tiger in your tank.
Yep.
Launched in the 50s and the 60s just to demonstrate the powerful performance of the Esso gasoline.
Okay, so that's the origins, but the whole plush toy, that was like early 1980s, because I was like maybe 13, 14 years old, 15 when that was big. Anyway, back over to Mel Ridney. Man, she really effed up with this car.
Yeah, come on, Mel Ridney.
I don't know if pouring chocolate sauce, as you were saying, Fester would be out there licking it off, by the way.
I'd be turned on by it.
Yeah.
I'd take Mel Ridney out to dinner.
I don't know if it was Hershey's syrup or whether it was Fox's You-Bet.
I don't think it was Fox's You-Bet.
For the best authentic New York egg creams, you need Fox's You-Bet, by the way.
You bet you do.
Yep, you bet. You betcha. Yeah, all caught on camera, by the way. Yeah, per the Shreveport Police Department, yeah, she pulled up in her own car, parked next to the victim vehicle, and destroyed it. And then just drove away. Yeah, so she could face prison time, fine of $1,000 or more. And this is apparently some kind of a romantic deal where she shared a romantic partner with somebody else, apparently. And this is just a jealousy thing. So this is a romantic revenge story that's turned really bad with a lot of automotive damage. And now she could end up in Louisiana jail over this.
I know we're not working for a third child, but if we do have another girl, Mel Ridney's on the list.
Mel Ridney.
That's a good name.
Mel Ridney. Melridney.
The more we talk about it, the more it's growing on me. Mel Ridney.
So Fester sent me an item.
Yes.
That two motorcyclists, this is here in Florida, other side of the state, Volusia County, 2 motorcyclists were taken to the hospital on Saturday. Why? They crashed into an alligator on I-4. I mean, you're telling me you can't see an alligator?
I mean, at night? I mean, it doesn't say that it was, a giant 10-foot gator. What if it was like a 3-foot gator? It's like hitting a speed bump out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Let's say the gator was like a 5-foot gator, and it always, stood like 8 inches off the ground, and you're racing down at the middle of the night. You can't see that. Or if you do, you don't stop in time.
Was it? But I don't see that it was Saturday night. That just says Saturday.
It was a 6-foot alligator.
Yeah, what time of day? The story the story you sent me doesn't say that it was nighttime. No, it was not. It was 6:08 p.m. There is still plenty. There is blazing sunshine still at 6:08 p.m. Saturday at 6:08 p.m. It is completely light. Sunset is not till 8:30 or so.
Listen, I don't know why they didn't see it.
Give me sunset. Festa,
sunset's about 8:30.
Yeah, you know what? I want to be accurate. What is today's freaking sunset? 8:32? Today's sunset, Tampa. Tampa sunset today is 8:22.
You're way off.
Oh, yeah, 10 minutes
way
off.
off, Slick.
Right, so 6:08 p.m. Saturday, it is totally bright out.
Okay.
How do you run into an alligator on I-4 at 6:08 p.m.?
They're probably whizzing so fast.
Yeah.
These guys are probably riding so fast. They have things pulled down. Their head pulled, helmet pulled down.
Yeah.
They can't make it out.
2 motorcyclists taken to the hospital, crashed into an alligator. The motorcyclist, 67-year-old DeLeon, how do you say that? Is it
DeLeon?
DeLeon Springs man and a 25-year-old Orange City woman.
I thought DeLeon was his name.
All right, now hold on a sec. I thought this was interesting. 67-year-old DeLeon Springs man and a 25-year-old Orange City woman were both heading westbound in the inside lane when they collided with the gator. Yeah, the impact caused both motorcyclists to veer off the interstate. Trooper said the 67-year-old crashed his 2022 Suzuki. Oh, he's got a Gixxer, a GSX R1000R. Man, you don't see many 67. That would be a Harley rider.
No, yeah.
Or an Indian rider. That's insane. A 67-year-old guy on a Gixxer. Those are Suzuki crotch rockets. You don't have many 67-year-olds on the crotch rockets. Those are your 22, 24-year-old guys.
He loves them.
And then he was riding with a 25-year-old. What was it, Belichick and his girlfriend? Or what the hell's going on here? So, 67-year-old out cycling with a 25-year-old. So, both motorcyclists veered off of I-4. The 67-year-old crashed his Gixxer, his crotch rocket, into a tree. He and the woman were taken to HCA Lake Monroe Hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. Thank God they're okay. Florida Wildlife, FWC, they sent the team to the scene to assist with the injured alligator. Wow. And then Fester sends me the story with the preface, "Ain't no joke. I once hit an alligator." You never told me you never told this on the air.
I don't know if I have or haven't told it.
Dude, how have you been part of the MJ and BJ morning show from 96 to 01 and then the MJ morning show since 2001? How have you been part of this show? You've never, ever, I would have remembered this. You have never, ever said that you hit an alligator once.
I think it happened in 2013 or 2014.
So it was after
we weren't doing the show. We weren't actively doing the show.
All right, so we stopped the show in February of 2012. Yeah.
So, but it was we weren't doing the radio show, and I'm driving on US 41 at about 12:45 at night. Middle of the night.
That would be Tamiami Trail.
Not where I am.
Where were you?
Florida Avenue. 41 runs the whole state.
Yeah, but
yeah,
okay, but where does it become Tamiami
Sarasota.
Trail? Like Sarasota, Bradenton,
and then Bradenton, Sarasota area over the Skyway.
So you're on 41 in where?
US 41 in lovely Lutz,
right?
Not too far from
That's Nebraska, right?
No, it forks. 41 comes down in forks, and one fork is Nebraska, one fork is Florida.
All right.
Anyway, and the interstate's in the middle. I'm on Florida Avenue in Lutz, 41, and out of nowhere, I don't see it.
Suddenly, alligator!
Or
Yes.
and it was like you hit a speed bump out of nowhere at speed. And it's not like a speed bump that has like a little up ramp that you can just get jostled by. It was a hard hit. And I plowed right into the side of this son of a bitch. And
what were you driving? What kind of car?
I was in a pickup truck at the time.
Oh my gosh.
So thankfully I wasn't in like my Lincoln.
Oh, that's right. You had that phase where you were into F-150s, which are great vehicles.
Great cars.
So,
perfect for hitting gators with.
Well, also perfect for hitting trees with.
Yeah.
Remember, you were allegedly shoved off the road by a Hillsborough County school bus and shoved off of South Himes right into the YMCA parking lot, and you hit a tree head on.
That was back in the early 2000.
I know when that was. That was in the fall of 2000.
Yeah, it was in 2000. But, MJ, I hit this gator, and I'm like, what the hell was that? So, of course, like an idiot, I do a U-turn.
Right.
And I'm the only person on the road.
Did you hurt the gator?
This gator was in bad shape.
Oh.
I might have been like the third person to meet that gator. That
Okay.
night.
All right.
No.
So did the gator not make it?
Well, so I turn around and I get out of the vehicle and I see this gator in the middle of the road. And then I'm thinking, oh no, I don't want the gator to get hit and I don't want anybody else to hit the gator. So I'm standing there on the side of the road at 1 a.m, trying to flag down drivers to slow down. And then I watch this gator get hit like 5 more times.
Oh, jeez.
Stop.
Then Hillsborough County Sheriff's vehicle comes by.
Does he hit the gator?
He hits the gator.
Oh, my God.
And I'm just thinking, I got to get the hell out of here. The officer turns around,
right,
and he pulls out a pair of rubber gloves from his utility kit in the back.
Right.
And he had a towel. He gave me the towel, and he and I grabbed the tail of the gator and pulled him off to the side of the road.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Grab a
gator
by the toe.
I don't think he had any toes left.
If he hollers, if he chomps you, let him go.
Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
So I'm grabbing the tail. The officer's grabbing the tail with the rubber gloves, and we pulled him off to the side of the road.
How big was the gator?
It might have been like 7-8 feet.
It was a
good-sized gator.
Some cars, if you've got a lower profile car and you hit that, it could rip up the whole front end.
Right.
Hey, a buddy of mine, and I think he passed. Oh, I feel so bad. I think I found out actually recently. Carlos, who used to be very involved with the BMW car club. Yeah. Carlos once hit an armadillo in his BMW M3. I think up near like Odessa, somewhere up in there.
But you have those low-profile vehicles.
And armadillos, you hit one of those, it's like hitting a freaking bowling ball in the middle of the road.
They have all that armor. Hence the name Armadillo.
Yeah.
Is that how they got the name? I don't know. But still, armadillos are tough.
But wait, so remember when we lived up north, you would always say to me about a deer,
right?
Don't veer, you got to hit it straight on.
Yeah.
So with the gator, is it the same thing? Well, should you be swerving around not to hit a gator?
Good point. We have a call on the line.
Uh-huh.
This person apparently just recently hit a gator. It's Brandy. No. Hello, Brandy. You're a fine girl.
Hey, thank you. How are you guys?
Brandy, did you get the reference?
Oh, so I was going on my way to work on East Lake. I live in Palm Harbor, and I was going to I was on East Lake Road, going towards Trinity.
Yep.
And I see a car way in front of me, and he put it on his hazards, and he moved over. And I was like, oh, okay, and there's really no one I'm good. And I had my brights on, and I get up, and there's this 8-foot alligator right in front of me. Oh. I swerved over, almost flipped my car.
Wow.
And so I did the good thing. I turned around. I went in front of it. I put on my hazard lights. I called the police. And I was waiting there, and this motorcycle guy comes over, and he was a cop, and he was going to work. And so he grabs the alligator. He goes, has it moved? I said, no, I've been here for like 15 minutes. It hasn't moved, nothing. And he takes it, and he moves it to the side a little.
Yeah, that's all they can do.
I'm going to wait here for the other cop to come.
Yep.
So the other cop came, and he's like, has it moved? I said, no, I've been here watching it and everything. So he gets his little tool to put over the mouth, and the gator starts moving.
Oh, no.
But the gator was like his head was like all cut up. His body.
Yeah.
Well, the car in front of me had hit it and ruined his whole front end.
Oh, yeah.
His tire, everything.
Oh, man, that's like probably hitting like a concrete wall. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like so thankful that I didn't hit it. I mean, but I almost flipped my car.
What kind of car do you drive?
Nissan Murano.
Because I drive a Dodge Stratus. I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Yeah, those are terrible cars to hit gators with also. But
you guys are talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, I almost hit one.
No, it's Florida. And did you get the reference of Brandy, You're a Fine Girl?
Yes, I did. I work in the healthcare. I work at, and that's how my residents remember me. Oh, Brandy, you're a fine girl.
Yes.
Or whiskey. I tell them
Do they ever go, on a Western Bay, and it serves
100 ships a day. Sailors,
yes,
pass
Brandy?
the time away.
I can never tell about that song if Brandy was like the pure girl or like the loose girl at port.
No, Brandy. No, she never. No, she's a good girl. She didn't get it on with the sailors.
Just the one.
She had a guy.
Yeah.
Who gave her a necklace
made
with
of the finest
silver from the north of Spain. Yeah. Fine girl. What a good guy you will be.
I don't know how many people sing that song to me.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, Brandy, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Why aren't
You guys have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
Why aren't there more gator crossing signs? I see deer all the time, but why aren't there more gators like on those big yellow square signs?
And just to pick something up off of what Michelle just said with deer, I was always taught that you do not swerve, hit the deer.
Yeah.
I know that it's Bambi and but hit the freaking deer. More people are killed and injured by swerving, going off the road and hitting a tree or rolling over or driving off a cliff like Toonsis the driving cat. More people are hurt by swerving to avoid the deer. So you're supposed to hit the damn deer.
So my question was, is the advice the same with the gator?
I would think so.
Yeah, I'd probably hit the gator. I mean, if you can safely avoid it, avoid it. But a lot of people don't safely avoid things. 7:22 at the MJ Morning Show. We start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next. Oh, the doll. The creepy doll story. Do you know about the creepy doll? Do you know about Annabelle? Oh, man. Do you believe or do you not believe about Annabelle the creepy doll? Listen, that's just scratching the surface. That's next and a whole lot more on the MJ Morning Show on Q105, 104.7 FM. Stand by. How would you like to get a Ford car, truck, or SUV? And this is expiring soon, folks. This is we're in the final times here. You better hurry. Get yourself a Ford car, truck, or SUV with employee pricing. Take advantage of this. Don't let this deal expire. Why should you go to Veterans Ford for your employee pricing Ford deal? I'll tell you right now why. Because they're going to treat you like royalty. You go to Veterans Ford, they're going to treat you like a family member. Do you think they treat their family members well when they come in to buy a car? Of course they do. You're going to love the experience. It's sort of like the opposite of a lot of maybe car dealer experiences you've had where you feel like when you leave the dealership, you got to go take a shower. Yeah. At Veterans Ford, they're just going to treat you well with respect. Get the great deal. Get the employee pricing on the Ford car, truck, or SUV that you want. But it's the experience that you're going to love. That's what keeps people coming back to Veterans Ford and also just helps with word of mouth. People saying, oh, man, Veterans Ford's fantastic. Their service department is the best around. You're going to love Veterans Ford Service Department if you need Ford service. It's Veterans Ford, Linebaugh, and the Veterans Expressway, and tell them that MJ sent you. How would you like 10% off on any garage door situation? What's a garage door situation? Well, you need service. The spring breaks. That's the most common. Maybe your tension wires bust. Maybe the track falls off the ceiling. Maybe you need a new garage door opener. Maybe you want to upgrade. Maybe you want one of the top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art LiftMaster garage door openers, which we gave away a whole bunch of them for Mother's Day. Yeah, maybe you want to have an app to control your garage door and tell you whether you left it open, or if you did, you can just hit a button on your phone and close your garage door. With video, you can even see the garage door because there are pictures and video that come from this thing. So whatever you need, whether you need a new garage door, maybe you want to juice up your curb appeal, maybe you want a hurricane-rated garage door as hurricane season has just begun. Anything with Banco, you mentioned the MJ Morning Show, any garage door service issues or anything new installed, you mentioned the MJ Morning Show, get 10% off. Banco is the best. Anything garage doors, it's BancoDoors.com. Bank on the best. Bank on Banco. BancoDoors.com. Tell them MJ sent you. Traffic's on. 1 hour, 20 minutes, nonstop. MJ next.
In Tampa, we have an accident on I-4 westbound at I-275, currently backed up to the Selman Expressway. We also have that earlier accident on 275 south at Ashley Drive, causing the off-ramp to be closed. Basically, 275 south through Tampa is slow from Fletcher through the junction until you clear Ashley Drive. Keeping you updated, I'm Schreiner. Traffic brought to you by the aggressive attorneys Winters and Yocker.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle this summer. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
The Q105 app is your connection to all the big contests. Powered by Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
It's time for the Great Haircut Sale at your local Great Clips salon. Your chance to get a great haircut at an even greater price, just $9.99. And money's not all you'll save at Great Clips. When you use online check-in, you can save time too. So download our app today and hurry in for the $9.99 Great Haircut Sale at Great Clips. It's gonna be great for a limited time at participating salons.
The $9.99 Great Haircut Sale runs June 4th through June 8th.
Visit the Greater Tampa Bay, Lakeland, and Sarasota area salons.
Hey, did you know that with Frontier Fiber Internet, the best Wi-Fi isn't just for VIPs anymore?
So even if I have less than 1 million followers?
Or me, a total noob?
What if I'm not in the metaverse yet?
Yeah, now everyone can get Wi-Fi 7 with a premium Eero router on Fiber 500 and up. Now starting at only $39.99 per month. Switch to the most advanced Wi-Fi on 100% fiber internet. Only from Frontier. Good to go. In select areas, price for 12 months with autopay. ETF terms apply. Max speeds wired. Actual average and Wi-Fi speed vary.
When America's favorite beaches are right in your backyard, you don't have to go far to feel a world away. So turn your beach bag into your overnight bag and cruise over to St. Pete Clearwater. Here, you'll find just what you're looking for, and then some. School's out.
Welcome, folks. 1 hour, 20 minutes of nonstop MJ starts right now. Do you know about the freaking doll? Do you know about Annabelle? All right, this is some crazy stuff. You know what? We've seen like horror movies that have the doll. Guess what? We've got Annabelle that we got to talk about. And there are people that are so superstitious that they believe that a whole bunch of bad things that just happened in Louisiana. Oh, boy, here he comes again.
Listen, I much prefer you don't talk about this story.
The demonic Annabelle doll. Do you know what this is about? Do you know what movie the Annabelle doll comes from? And the doll has to be kept locked up, apparently.
I remember seeing the trailers for the movie, so that's about the extent of my knowledge.
No, we saw this. It was The Conjuring. We saw The Conjuring.
We did?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, she must have done fell asleep.
Well, let me tell you what's going on here. The real-life Annabelle doll was recently on tour in Louisiana, and people are saying that the demonic doll caused all the problems, including that big plantation fire and the 10 escapees from the New Orleans jail.
Well, I don't know if any of them be using the doll to help break out that jail, though. How many left? They still get them all? They get them all?
No, I think...
one or two will be out in the run still?
Well, when we left on Friday, there were still 2 of those inmates on the loose. They had captured 8, and there was still 2 running around.
I always seem to root for the guys on the jailbreaks.
You know what? You're a sicko.
No,
what is wrong with you?
Just for sport.
What is wrong? You've got murderers that escape. What the hell is wrong with you?
They're terrible people. I get that.
Oh, but I'm rooting for them. I want murderers on the loose. I'm Fester.
They're not on the loose in the sense that they're just walking around.
I'm Fester for murderers. Is that your next endorsement?
Hi, Fester from the MJ Morning Show here for murderers. If you want to escape from the county jail, I fully support you.
The doll, the Annabelle doll. People are saying that it was the doll that was recently on tour, must have escaped from its steel and glass box. There's even a sign on it, warning, positively do not open. It's the Annabelle doll.
So
it's a Raggedy
It's a Raggedy
Yeah.
I've never called Raggedy Ann Annabelle.
No,
I
but
know. I don't understand that.
That's the name of the doll, apparently. This Raggedy Ann is named Annabelle, and it's the old Raggedy Ann doll.
What an insult, Raggedy Ann. Raggedy is really a cutting term.
Raggedy.
Put your raggedy ass. Get out of here, Raggedy Ann looking ass.
Yeah. That's what I think.
What was the guy's name? Raggedy Ann and
Andy.
Why did they should have just called it the disheveled, hygienically challenged kids doll.
Yeah.
That's what they should have called Raggedy Ann.
the broke kid doll. Oh, raggedy looking.
All right, so the wacko conspiratorialists, they think that the Annabelle doll from the movie The Conjuring, which was on tour in New Orleans, must have escaped from its steel and glass enclosure. It's like a cube. And you don't open it at all. Don't let the doll out, or else bad things are going to happen.
I mean, they ridiculously have this doll bolted into this whole case. It's all a show.
It's like a small Hannibal Lecter cage.
Seriously, this doll isn't going anywhere. And it's back. It's on display permanently in what, is it the Northeast?
Yeah.
Connecticut.
I'm going to get into all. I'm going to get into all this in a second. So the doll was on tour, and of course, this is a whole fictional thing from the movie The Conjuring. And, it was a whole set. How many Conjurings were there? 2 or 3? It's a series. The Conjuring movies.
I've never seen any of them.
It's a Conjuring universe. And, they have...
I was kind of asking rhetorically. There's a whole...
No, it's the Conjuring universe.
Right. There's a lot of Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
So this doll plays a part, apparently. And I know that we saw The Conjuring. I don't remember every aspect of it. And I don't know if we saw any subsequent movies in the series. But the doll, in its comedic, cartoonish, little jail box, was in New Orleans on tour back in mid-May, a couple of weeks back. And it was the same week that the prison breakout occurred, and the same week that this fire just torched a plantation nearby. And people are saying, yep, it was the doll. But the Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, is the owner of the doll. And the owner of the actual Warren Occult Museum in Connecticut says that Annabelle, the possessed Raggedy Ann doll, is back safely behind lock and key up in Connecticut now. The doll was on a brief tour to several locations to show doll enthusiasts of the paranormal what she looks like in person. If they can't make it up to the put that on our list for summer travel. Yeah. Let's visit the Occult Museum up in Connecticut.
The kids will love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He says the doll was never out of our control while it was in New Orleans. What the hell? Oh, yeah. The fire at the historic Nottoway Plantation House, that's between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Baton Rouge. New Orleans?
I must say, I appreciate your pronunciations there.
All right, thank you.
You know Baton Rouge means red stick.
Baton Rouge.
It means red stick in French.
Yeah, thank you.
Baton, stick.
Baton, and then Rouge is red.
Red stick.
Yeah, it's also a budget offshoot airline of Air Canada. Rouge. Yeah, I see their Airbus 319s pulling into Tampa every once in a while.
Everything got to be about a plane, don't it?
Yeah.
Even Cajun Fester's calling you out on your crutches.
Cajun Fester calling me out on my obsession with aviation. Is that it? Oh, speaking of that, so
more planes?
Well, listen, I told the story earlier today. So I had a 4-hour delay. We sat on the plane for about 4 hours, leaving Fort Lauderdale. We were supposed to leave Fort Lauderdale at 7:22, and we pushed back on time yesterday. But then weather delays, ground stop, then rerouting. So we were supposed to land in Tampa at roughly 8 o'clock. We did not land in Tampa until 12 noon yesterday. So we're 4 hours late, and we sat on the airplane. But I wanted to point out one other thing. We had just landed, and we're taxiing to the gate, and people are already getting up and walking down the aisle. And the flight attendants are like, sit down. We're not at. I'm like,
you tell them to shut up because, dude, those people are going crazy.
Let me tell you right now that I see that a lot in foreign countries, in foreign travel that I've done, like domestic travel within the foreign country. So not as much my international flight from the U.S. to a foreign country, but when I'm in a foreign country and I do travel within that country via air, it's unbelievable. But this happened on Spirit. This was Friday night. This was, let's see, Friday night. So what time did we get in? We got in about 10:30. People, we're landing. We're still moving, and there were like 5 guys that got up, and they're walking down the aisle as we're still far from the gate, and we're taxiing. And the flight attendants are having to yell at them, sit down, we're not at the gate. What is that?
But they don't even listen. A lot of times they just keep doing whatever they're doing, and we're all like looking at them like, are you listening?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Let me tell you what's going to happen in like 4 minutes. I'm never going to see any of you people again.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens at the airport. If I'm not breaking the law, whatever.
And then it happened again. Once we finally got to Tampa, there were people that were... literally, this happened yesterday. We're rolling into the gate. It wasn't as far away from the gate, still on the taxiway. We were on the ramp, but we're still rolling up to the gate. We're rolling up in Tampa, and there are people getting up and trying to race down the aisle. The freaking aisle lice that, oh, my God, I'm in row 37, but I've got to get to row 10 before anyone else gets out of their seat. And they'll push you out of the way. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then the entitled imbeciles that, we stay in our row until it's time to deplane row by row. Okay. And then you have the people that are standing there.
We get it. You're plain people piss you off. Okay. MJ.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
what?
10 being the highest.
Yes.
I don't give a crap at all. It's like a 1, maybe 2 about you sitting on a tarmac for 4 hours. All right?
Don't say tarmac.
Whatever.
The ramp.
Whatever.
Taxiway.
The only plane I want to talk about is your girl, because Chloe had nothing but problems going to Vegas.
How do you know about this?
We talked about it on Thursday. We were
no, but she had problems coming back too.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Then I get Chloe popping up on my Instagram last night, and she was having Wild Girl Weekend in Vegas, and I'm thinking, hey, when does she come back? And and now. Is she home? Did she get back last night?
Yeah, well, she got back yesterday afternoon. That was a whole ordeal. What a freaking mess.
Did she see David Guetta?
Yeah.
She
That's awesome.
All right. So here's the deal. Chloe went to Vegas Thursday night with a friend, and they had a little girls' weekend. It was just Chloe and her friend, and her friend works for a...
Look at this picture of the two girls. That's 20 cents right there.
Her
2 dimes.
Listen. Please stop.
No, I'm telling you.
Chloe and her friend works for one of the big financial companies, and they've got a... Can I finish the damn story?
Let me know what I'm moving my account.
All right, so
she just earned some new business.
Chloe's friend works for one of the big financial firms, and they have a big office out in Vegas. And apparently the Vegas office for this big financial company, they're pretty plugged in. So they got them all kinds of dinner reservations, and they got them into all kinds of shows.
That's
and
great.
Like Cutting the Line at David Guetta. And so they had a great weekend, but they had trouble getting there. For those that, followed the show on Thursday, Chloe's Frontier flight, she got effed by Frontier. Frontier starts with an F, and guess what? They F you.
Yeah.
Frontier will F you over. So Chloe's flight was supposed to leave at 7:30 on Thursday morning. I'm sorry, I said Thursday night. It was Thursday morning. So Chloe's flight was 7:30 a.m. to Vegas on Thursday morning. They postponed that flight until after midnight the next day. So 7:30 a.m. Thursday flight, and Frontier changed the flight until 12:30 a.m. on Friday morning. So clearly that was going to mess with everything. They had all kinds of plans for Thursday night. Here they're going to arrive in Vegas with a lot of time to spare. So they had to jump on an American Airlines flight. So that costs money. So American at the last minute from Tampa to Vegas was $425.
It's all going to cost money last minute.
The Frontier deal was $221 round trip. $221 from Tampa to Vegas and back. So listen to this. The American Airlines flight is now $425. Then, this is where Frontier screws again. Chloe doesn't get her check-in notification. They canceled Chloe off the return flight. So now Chloe has no way home.
Oh, she's stranded in Vegas for another week, Dad.
This is insanity. So she has to buy, or Daddy has to buy, a last-minute Southwest Airlines ticket, $550 one freaking way. So her air travel that was $221 round trip on FU Frontier has turned into a $1,000 air travel deal. So I'm livid. I'm pissed. Frontier, Michelle, do we know what happened with her outbound?
Was it Frontier? Was it?
No, it was
Frontier messed up the first leg.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Frontier, somehow she was canceled off of the return.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't on the outbound, and Chloe swears that she went on the app and now to cancel. But do we know what happened?
I have no idea. I tried to click on the what do you call it? The code, the number to get
the locator code.
Yeah, the locator, because they sent her an email.
The D5W with Ringer's Lactate.
It was W something.
Yeah,
something.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Frontier knows that her dad is like this radio guy who's saying, Frontier starts with F. F, Frontier. And they're like, you know what? We're just going to cancel her off the return flight.
I think instead of having animals on the tail of their airplanes, they ought to just have a big, giant middle finger on the back.
Two fingers. One up and one pointing at you.
Yeah, but just a really rough, miserable experience with Frontier. And then...
Sounds like she had the time of her life while she was there, though.
But then try to get a hold of somebody.
No, that's the thing. I told her on Thursday, do not leave that counter, because I knew. I said, do not leave that counter without confirming you've canceled the Tampa one and you're still on the return. But, they're in the chaos of the moment. The Frontier is telling them something different. They'll try to keep them on the flight. It might be leaving, but the girls run over to American and book their tickets without handling it at the counter.
Well, I don't know what the hell happened, but they got screwed over by Frontier. Then she's off of the return flight. She has no way home. And trying to get a hold of Frontier, guess what? You know what else starts with F? Forget it. All right, because try to get a hold of Frontier. You got to go through a chat bot, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with chat with them, and then they probably have these chat artists, in the Philippines or something at some foreign call center, and you finally get a hold. You wait 20 minutes to start the chat, and then they're clearly juggling 50 other chats because getting any answer back from them, it's like this 10-minute delay in getting any response once you're in a conversation. So, first, let me tell you right now, Get me a human on the phone to talk to instead of these chats. These chats, if more convenient to use chat, we'll send you a code, use chat. Take your chat and shove it up there because chats, they take 30 times longer than just doing something via voice on the phone. I hate customer service chats. I avoid chats at all freaking costs. They suck. You get on the phone with somebody, even if it's like some woman that says, hello, my name is Diane. No, it's not. What's your real name? You know, they've got their phony, Americanized Western name, you know?
You're not a Diane.
Yeah,
no
whatever.
offense.
All right, well, so get somebody on the phone. But with Frontier, it's freaking impossible. And it's just a mess. So finally, she's working on chat with Frontier. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. And this is late Saturday night. I'm on the chat with Frontier. And they said, nope, it was canceled. And then they cut me off. Chat has ended. That was it. No resolution. This was the Frontier resolution specialist via chat. And they then just, after being on the freaking chat for an hour and getting a response every 12 and a half minutes from these imbeciles, then they cut you off. The chat session has ended. Wait a second, we haven't resolved anything. It was like, nope, you've been canceled off the flight. Cut off.
Are
Boom.
you sure you didn't call the Frontier no resolution line?
Oh, my
Where they string you along
God.
for half a day and then hang up.
Hang on a minute. Andrew wants me to take a call here.
All right.
7:45 at the MJ Morning Show. Man, it's a crazy Monday already. Hi, good morning. MJ Morning Show. Brenda's in Palm Harbor. Hello, Brenda.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, Brenda. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
So, most people do not know what I'm about to tell you, and you can look into it because it just happened to my cousin. She got stranded coming in from Costa Rica. They bumped her off a flight, and now she's all the way out in Orlando, right? And she doesn't have a car, right? She's got to come back to Palm Harbor. I said, no, go back to that counter. Most people do not know that if you are displaced more than 4 hours in U.S. travel, you are entitled to $1,200 worth of credit. Whether it's they had to pay for her lift, they had to pay for like all this stuff, like a room, everything. Like they owe you a credit because they have displaced you. But if you don't ask for it or you don't demand it, you get exactly what you get, that crazy chat.
Oh, my God. So is it able to be taken now, or do you have to do it at the time to get your credit?
I mean, I don't know, but
I know that there are FAA regulations that if an airline displaces you, I know that it exists, that if it's not weather related, if it's the airline's issue and it's not weather related, then they do owe you something in many cases.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to give you, I mean, in her case, she had to get an Uber all the way from Orlando to Palm Harbor.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine? They displaced her, and she wanted food credit. I said, go back there, get food credit, go get a credit. I said, get a credit for your time. I said, if nothing else. And, I know she got a bunch of stuff. And this happened like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call, Brenda. I appreciate it. I'll have Chloe look into it. And then, listen to this. So, Frontier is not giving Chloe a refund on the credit card.
Yeah.
So somehow a $221 round trip, of which she flew none of it. She flew no Frontier from Tampa to Vegas, and she flew no Frontier from Vegas back to Tampa through Midway yesterday, right? And listen to this. No refund from Frontier. She has a $167 travel credit. No bleeping way. So now we have to deal with Frontier or American Express and dispute the charge. We want all $221 back, not a $167 credit. How does you screwed her over twice and you don't refund the full deal? What kind of racket, what kind of scam is Frontier pulling?
That's their financial model. So like, listen, guys, we're gonna make a little profit this quarter by just hosing people off of like $50.
Holy crap! So now we got to navigate, no pun intended, this whole gigantic mess. What a freaking joke! Oh, hurricane season, as you know, started yesterday, June 1. Dennis Phillips, Mr. Suspenders, will join us in less than 45 minutes at 8:30. 8:30, Dennis Phillips live here on the MJ Morning Show. I've got questions. If you want to know what his thoughts are on the hurricane season, Dennis Phillips live coming up at 8:30 this morning here on the MJ Morning Show. This is a little odd, and I don't want to blindside you, Michelle. We're watching an old episode of Law & Order SVU last night.
Yeah.
And in the episode, this woman who ran some kind of a gigolo male escort operation, and then all these male escorts were then getting, attacked.
Yeah.
By a guy hidden in the closet.
Yeah.
All right. The woman is finally arrested and then spits on a guy.
Yeah.
Who already had been scalded with a boiling pot of spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, as she's being cuffed by by Mariska Hargitay and the dude, she spits on the guy is already burned with boiling hot spaghetti and spaghetti water that she ripped off the stove and threw the boiling pot of water with spaghetti cooking on this guy. He's on the ground writhing in pain, and the woman spits on him as the cops are hauling her out of her apartment, right? And then Michelle says to me, I might do certain things, but I'm never going to spit on you like that. And then you go into a whole explanation that you can't spit?
Yeah, I don't do that.
Hold on, you don't do that, or you physically can't spit?
I can't do that whole bring something up and then
you can't.
I can't do that. I can't.
You cannot. You can't do that?
No.
There are people...
come on. Yes, you can.
There's nothing coming up. I don't understand that.
Hockaloogie?
Oh,
no.
Come on.
We're talking about spitting.
Dude, but come on. You don't have to go in that.
The guy who played a Haktua sound effect was friendly in Hockaloogie.
Yeah.
Listen, it's what it's called. We're talking about hot spitting talk here. I mean, it's what it is.
Hot spitting talk.
That's what it is. But what if I busted out some tobacco? Huh? What if you and I started chewing some Copenhagen or some Red Man? Could you spit then?
No. That's the thing. I would just spit that out.
What about sunflower seeds?
Oh no, no. You crack them open first and then you put it in your mouth.
Don't. What are you, an animal? You put them in your face and you jam them in your cheek.
Oh, actually, I buy them already unshelled.
Oh, the worst.
Can you spit? Just you can spit
if you. That's a raspberry.
No, raspberry.
Yeah,
that's sticking your tongue out and going.
Yeah. No.
Let's say
I've never been able to do that.
You can't just spit.
Mm-mm.
Come on, Fessa, get the trash can.
No.
Come on, you have to. I want.
No.
What do you mean?
I can't. I'm telling you, I can't.
How can you
get
not?
that gross thing away from me? Ah, that thing is so nasty.
The trash can's pretty nasty.
It's a trash can.
No, the whole outside of it is just disgusting.
It's not touching you. I just have it here between us. This big old trash can.
I mean, honestly.
What the hell's going on here?
Oh, it smells.
All right,
spit that thing away. You made a whole smell over here now.
Michelle, if you get...
I gotta spray something. I don't even have anything to spray.
Don't spray expensive lotion or something. All right, Fessa, move the trash can away.
All right,
that is so gross.
Move it away.
Something odor just came out of there.
All right, Fessa, just move it away.
Now she's spraying...
That's Chanel No. 5. Don't spray that.
I can't help it.
What's the matter with you? That was $20 worth of Chanel No. 5.
That smells like.
What's the matter with you?
When you moved it, it made this smell waft around or something. I don't know.
God, between the trash can and the perfume, it smells like the backstage on a Moulin Rouge concert.
Michelle, come on, you can't spit. No, you don't have to. You don't have to do the guttural.
How do you cut it?
Listen,
how do you get it up then?
How do you relieve moisture from your mouth if you don't swallow it?
Listen to me, Michelle. If you
relieve moisture from my mouth,
if you have a bad taste in your mouth, you don't spit it out.
Yeah, it's just that. But I don't.
Anyway.
But you know what? I'm very careful about what I put in my mouth anyway. I don't if I don't know what it is or it doesn't belong there, it doesn't go. When I get a sandwich or a burger, I always look to make sure there's no loogies or anything else on there that shouldn't be there.
Hey, it's a little dramatic.
No, I don't. Mm-mm. I have to see.
7:54 at the MJ Morning Show. Let me just lightning around a whole bunch of stuff because there's just a lot happening. This could be my favorite story of the day. Folks, hold on tightly here for more than one reason. There's a lot coming quickly here. My favorite item of the day has got to be this. And we've got to have Fester try this out.
What is it?
Man sues Walt Disney World over the excessive water slide speed, and the dude is about your size.
Oh, yeah?
And claims that they didn't stop him from going on the ride, and they should have. And the guy went airborne at 340 pounds.
I would love to go airborne at 340 pounds. Was this like Typhoon Lagoon?
Hey, Andrew, were you aware of this story? I think it's Typhoon Lagoon.
Yes, I am aware.
Did you think of Fester when you heard this story?
I did not.
Come on, how do you not think of Fester when you hear this story?
Yeah, I'm kind of offended, Andrew.
Oh, this is hysterical. All right.
Some friend you are.
At Walt Disney World, a lawsuit's been filed after a guy was hurt. This was at the Blizzard Beach Water Park. Now, is that a Typhoon Lagoon? Blizzard
No,
Beach?
there are two water parks. There's Blizzard Beach and there's Typhoon Lagoon.
Okay, so it was. I'm sorry, I'm not up to speed on every single nook and cranny of every Disney operation.
Andrew, you don't have to sound so uppity.
Yeah,
when
you know what you say. That's that was condescending.
It really was.
That was like Disney condescending crap right there.
Are you the pot or the kettle in this case? I'm not sure.
All right, whatever. All right. So this dude is suing Disney because he was hurt on one of the high-speed water slides at Blizzard Beach. Filed a lawsuit late last week. Eugene Strickland was at the park in July of 2021. How do you sue now for something that happened in 2021? He was on the downhill double dipper.
Ah, the downhill double dipper.
Right.
The DHDD, we call it.
Andrew, you familiar with the downhill double dipper?
I am not familiar with either. I've never been to either of the water parks.
All right, so you've been to everything Disney, but you avoid the water parks.
I'm not a water park person.
What, do you have some ugly scars on your body? You want to take your shirt off, or what's going on over there?
People pointed laugh.
Okay, I got you. All right, according to the lawsuit, Mr. Eugene Strickland weighed about 334 pounds at the time. That was above the slide's weight limit of 300 pounds. What, did they have a scale there?
I think they have a posted limit, and they expect you to follow it. They don't have a scale.
Strickland got on the ride and became, quote, momentarily airborne as a result of the ride's exhilarating speeds and design, according to the lawsuit. That was exact language from the complaint.
Exhilarating makes it sound like a good thing.
It does. He forcefully landed onto the hard plastic surface,
which would be the slide.
And he suffered, quote, permanent catastrophic injuries, according to the lawsuit. He's accused Walt Disney World of negligence. They did not keep him off the slide with his excessive weight. They did not maintain a safe attraction. He says that Disney has a responsibility to fix the Double Dipper's dangerous conditions, in quotation marks. That's actually from the complaint. Dangerous conditions. He's looking for more than $50,000 in damages.
Yeah, sure he is.
That's just the statute thing. That's like seeking in excess of $15,000. In this case, seeking in excess of $50,000 in damages.
He might be suing him for $1 million in damages.
Fester, we got to get you on this thing.
Listen,
what is your weight right now?
A lean.
When's the last time you weighed yourself?
Oh, what's today?
At the scales at the truck stop.
I was at the truck stop back in March.
What is your weight right now?
What you do is you weigh yourself in the car.
Yes,
and then you get out of the car and just weigh the car and you do the math.
Yeah, it's like a tear weight. Yeah.
So
Okay.
no, I think my fighting weight right now is probably 342.
All right, so you're over. Yeah, we got to get you over there.
Listen,
we've got to get you to Blizzard Beach. I want you to become the Blizzard bitch.
I am all for a company paid for a day at a theme park. No problem.
Well, you know what happened is you're supposed to be on a tube.
Yeah.
And he came off of the tube. The tube got stuck. And so then he flew off of the tube. So when he landed on the water, he essentially probably got some kind of a wedgie.
Right. So his weight pushed the tube onto the slide. The tube got stuck, and then he was ejected and became airborne off of the tube.
Or he got separated from the tube.
His weight caused the tube to get stuck, and then he just kept going. And the tube stayed in the tube stayed in the tube.
The tube stayed in the tube. That's a lot of tube talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, MJ, this
That's
place
totally tubular.
This place looks fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun.
It looks like an awesome water park.
I wonder if they have like new safety measures in place, because this happened in 2021. He just filed his lawsuit. I mean, 4 freaking years later, late last week. I wonder if they have newer precautions in place I wonder if they have like a I'm sorry to say this, but what if they have a fact checker? Like someone that, like, maybe, like the person at the carnival that can guess your weight?
Yeah.
I wonder if they have somebody that's employed at Disney's Blizzard Beach now where they kind of determine that, hey, you might be too heavy to ride. And how do they handle that? What is the language? I mean, Disney is so put together and everything's got to be in the proper place. I wonder what the language is for someone to tell a guest, hey, you're too fat to get on this ride. What is the language?
I'm looking at this double dipper downhill extravaganza.
Oh, I want you to launch like a freaking cannonball.
I don't see where he would launch because it looks like it just comes straight down and then you slide into the water.
No, the raft was coming down and his weight clearly stopped it in its tracks and he went flying off and went airborne down the slide for a spell.
So his tube you see how you go through a tube at the top?
Yeah.
His little tube, his round tube that he's sitting on, got stuck there, and then he still kept flying.
It's people like this that give fat people bad names.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
You give fat people a bad name.
This guy does. I mean, I fully support equal rights for, the fatty boombalatties out there. And, if we're going to have a fundraising buffet, I'm certainly going to go to it to support fat people equality. However, come on, man. A lot of times those weight limits are just suggestions.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. If the lawyer for Disney approved 300, right? If all of Disney's due diligence, because everything goes through channel after channel after check, and they say, okay, we're going to post a 300-pound weight limit on this, then the real weight's got to be like 400.
Yeah.
Just to have that extra little give. Because if it's really 400, you don't post 400.
Right.
Then the 500-pounders are going to want to use it.
Right.
Well, if it says 400, it must really be 5.
Earlier this morning, I mentioned, go back to the screen, would you please?
Yes.
Go back to my saved. Earlier this morning, I mentioned that I stumbled across an article that says that there's a music track on Spotify that can slash your stress by 65% in just 8 minutes. Now, this has been around for a while. There's an 8-minute musical track called Weightless by the British band Marconi Union. And it turns out that the claim is that if you're stressed, you play the music track and it cuts your stress by 65%. All right, Fester, you have it on the computer. Andrew, you have it on the computer. Andrew, do you have Spotify? Oh, it's on YouTube as well.
I mean, I imagine it's everywhere.
All right, so Andrew found that on YouTube. You know what? Let's play it. Fester, don't touch the computer. You're going to screw it up.
All right.
So I'll play it from in here, Andrew.
Okay.
So this is called Weightless, and I'm just curious. I can't play all 8 minutes, but
no, let's play all 8 minutes.
If you're totally stressed out right now, I need to know if this. Let's listen. Let me go into. This is 3 minutes in. I gotta be honest. I think this is making me more on edge.
Yeah, really?
I think this is making me nervous right now.
I feel my anxiety building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weightless by the British band Marconi Union. That's 3 minutes in. Let me go about 6 minutes in. I'm just curious. Anybody? Now, I didn't play the whole track. What was that?
Oh, I'm so relaxed. I feel so relaxed right
Festa,
now.
Turn your fart app off.
My anxiety just. Oh,
please stop.
Just leaving my body.
Turn the fart app off. All right, stop. All right,
I feel so relaxed right now. It works.
800-990-1047. This is the last 20 seconds. I'll play the last 20 seconds here.
No, you started it again.
I didn't start. How did I start it again?
I don't know. But
all right, let me go to the end then. Let me play the last couple minutes. Last couple seconds. All right, this is the last 20 seconds. All right, 800-990-1047. Go to my call screener, would you please, so I can see who's on hold. Yeah, Marconi Union. Starts at 60 beats per minute. The average resting heart rate gradually slows to 50 beats a minute, syncing your body's rhythm like a lullaby for your nervous system.
All right.
No, I don't like it.
It was composed in collaboration with sound therapists with the primary purpose of slowing down the body's stress response, according to Dr. Stephen Alder, a consulting neurologist.
I mean, I believe that you can listen to music and stuff like this, and it has, rests you and it helps you relax. But as soon as I wake up, all my anxiety is still there.
Apparently, Weightless was originally released in 2014. Let me go to phones. Rhonda is up first in Tampa. Hello, Rhonda. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are well, Rhonda. Did that do anything for you? Are you stressed out?
Okay, listen. I felt like I wanted to throat punch somebody. I'm like, what the hell is this? Right?
Yes.
I was so stressed out. And maybe when you guys said that you were going to play it, I was so excited because, we just purchased a home and we got all these closings to do. I'm like, oh, this will be perfect. I'm just going to meditate on what they're doing.
Yeah, the MJ Morning Show is going to de-stress me, and then I put that thing on, and it's jammed it up even higher.
I'm like, dear Lord, is it just me? It's just like this thing. I'm like, it's called Weightless? Are they kidding?
All right, so Rhonda, what you're saying is that Weightless track, which is supposed to de-stress your stress by 65%, it made it worse.
Oh, probably about 85 to 95%. I'm like, I felt it in like my chest, like that. I'm like, what the hell? I'm all uptight. I'm like, I was gonna text Fester, but I'm like, I didn't have his number in my phone, so I was gonna be like, that sucks. I want to throw punch somebody.
Rhonda, thanks for being a great first call. I appreciate it.
Wow. Have a great day, you guys.
You too, Rhonda. Hope your stress level's reduced. Let's grab Bruce in Winter Haven. Bruce, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hi.
Did that do anything for you, Rick? Or I'm sorry, Bruce. Rick is next. Yes, Bruce?
Actually, I'm on my way to a doctor's appointment this morning, and I take medicine on a regular basis for anxiety and stuff like that right there, and that right there was driving me nuts.
All right, Bruce, you're not going to snap, are you?
And no. I already had my medication this morning. It's starting to work now a little bit.
What are you on, Bruce? What kind of meds you taking?
That would drive me slap nuts if I had to listen to that.
I agree. Bruce, what kind of meds are you on?
I take Xanax.
Okay, all right.
You know what? If you give me three
Xanax
guesses.
In the morning and afternoon, I'm on my way to the doctor's now.
All right. Well, listen, Bruce, thank you for checking in. I hope your day goes well.
See you, Bruce.
Thank you. Rick in Holiday. Rick, you're next on the MJ Morning Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
Doing fine, Rick.
I was feeling depressed before. It didn't help. It made me more depressed, like Rhonda said. It sounds like a funeral song.
Like a dirge.
It's kind of creepy, and it doesn't make any sense.
All right, Rick, thank you for checking in. Appreciate it. All right, a couple more calls on this. How about Mia in Newport Richie? Mia, hi, you're on the MJ Morning Show, Mia.
Hi, guys. Good morning. It's Mia. I always call. I'm the one that burned my food.
Oh, the one that burned her food. Yes,
Oh,
the Mia that burned her
the
food.
one that burned her food.
Oh, I was just wondering how you were doing.
I was going to send you a card.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
I'm actually like super, super stressed. I have 2 girls. They're both in the Army. One is leaving today to North Korea. The other one left Wednesday.
No. Hold on. Wait a second.
North Korea?
I don't think they're going to North Korea. I mean, they could be going to the. Are they going to the DMZ?
Yes.
All right. So she's going to Panmunjom.
I believe so.
Hold on. Is she going to be stationed at the DMZ?
Yes, for 9 months.
Oh wow. Yeah. So that's like a UN peacekeeping deal, but we do have about 30,000 U.S. troops in South Korea.
So she's my baby, and then the other one is also in the Army, and she left Wednesday, and she's in the border in Cali, in training. So that did not do anything to me. It just made it worse. I felt the whole humming inside my body, just going like higher and higher and higher and higher. No, that would not work for me.
Thank you very much, Mia. I'll grab one more call. Tony in Bradenton. Tony, hang on. You're next. It's call after call. They're saying that supposed track to reduce your stress by 65% is making it worse.
I don't think anybody said they liked it.
No one. Zero. Tony, Bradenton, last call on this. Hi, Tony.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Yep.
This one's more like for Andrew, and I think he'll be able to comprehend this one here. When you're going through Spaceship Earth at Disney.
Hey, Tony, your cell phone is stressing me out. It sounds like ass.
Yeah, it's really a terrible connection. Are you on hands-free or something?
No, I'm. Can you hear me now?
All right, that's better. Go ahead. All right, talk into the phone. Thank you.
This one is more like for Andrew.
Sound like you were talking into your crotch.
Here.
All right, hang on. Go ahead.
When you're taking the ride on Spaceship Earth
right.
at Epcot,
right.
that music, that's the same one they play on there, and puts me to sleep, quite frankly.
Are you serious?
Yeah, at the end of Spaceship Earth, that's the big golf ball looking thing, MJ, at Epcot.
Yeah.
Once you get through their little vignettes, there's like a space conclusion to it. And they have like some melodic music. I don't know if it's exactly this, but it's the same kind of synthesizer beat.
Thank you for the call, Tony. Have a great day. All right, so this is it. Weightless by Marconi Union is supposed to de-stress you by 65%. And it seems that nobody agrees. Zero. Dennis, speaking of stress, hurricane season started yesterday.
Oh, great.
Yeah. June 1, yesterday. Today's June 2. And hurricane season is off and running. Dennis Phillips from ABC Action News, Mr. Suspenders, our official weather partner here on the MJ Morning Show and on Q105, 104.7 FM. Dennis Phillips will join us at 8:30. So kind of, hey, Dennis, all right, we're now a day into hurricane season. What's the story? So, nothing brewing right now, but we'll just get some Dennis thoughts. And obviously last season, Dennis spent hours with us live on the air during the events, during Helene and Milton. So Dennis Phillips, what is Dennis going to say? We'll have him on in 15 minutes at 8:30 here on the MJ Morning Show. So guess what Michelle's all sucked up into right now? Oh, you know what it is, Michelle.
I mean, she gave the like she knows. I know she knows.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm asking you. Guess what Michelle's all sucked up into?
That's really vague.
Yeah.
I mean, she's sucked up muscle-bound men with tattoos?
No.
She's sucked into what?
Michelle's sucked up into the Karen Reed trial up in Boston. She's the woman that is accused of killing her boyfriend, who was a Boston police officer in a little town outside of Boston called Canton, Massachusetts. So Michelle is completely invested now in the whole story. She binge watched. This is yesterday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle completely binge watched all 5 episodes of the Karen Reed HBO story.
Oh, really?
It's very fascinating.
I gotta watch it.
You know what? I was thinking of you when I watched it. I was like, Fester's always watching these programs. You'd given me like a list and some other recommendations. And this trial's going on right now. And so
it's the retrial.
Right, the retrial's going on right now. So I was like, you know what? Let me find out some information.
The first trial last year ended in a mistrial because it was a hung jury.
Yep.
And so Michelle just watched the whole 5. What was the name of the series on HBO? Do you remember what the name of it was?
Buried in the Snow or something.
Oh, yeah, something in the snow. Karen Reed. Yeah, Festa, just type in Karen Reed HBO. It's called, what the hell's the name of the damn thing? It's something in the snow.
Body in the Snow. A Body in the Snow.
A Body in the Snow?
The Trial of Karen Reed.
Yeah.
So this whole series was recorded and produced with the first trial last year. And what was interesting about it, when I read the article in the Hollywood Reporter, said that the production crew, they were given just like completely unlimited access to her defense team, her throughout the whole first trial.
All right, let me tell you right now that I actually want to murder a few people on the documentary because some of the women have horrific vocal fry.
So I told Karen that she should kill her boyfriend.
Oh my gosh, drive me
she put his body in the snow.
So I get back.
That's not what happened.
Listen, I get back at noon yesterday. We land at noon. I'm back home by 12:30 or so at the house. And had you already started watching some of the episodes?
No.
All right. So when I got home, I'm just chilling on the couch. I'm a little tired, and Michelle puts on the HBO 5-episode, the trial of Karen Reed. This it's called A Body in the Snow: The Trial of Karen Reed, and this is all from the original trial. Now the retrial, the state has decided to prosecute again after the mistrial. That case is going on right now. You got the Diddy case in New York. You got the Karen Reed, and she has thousands of supporters. They line up with like free Karen T-shirts and then a judge ruled that you couldn't be within like 200 feet of the courthouse with like posters and signs. Then they all started just wearing pink to show solidarity. So let me tell you what, I wanted to murder a couple of people on this show, including Karen herself, because the vocal fry. I mean, when you hear the interviews, there are 3 women that were driving me nuts, and I don't know what it is with. Vocal fry is mostly a female thing. Listen, guys do plenty of nasty, gross things. So guys don't get a pass. In fact, guys are probably, in many cases, worse and more gross than women, right?
Well, what about guys with vocal fry?
But I don't hear, that's the point.
I'm going to start talking like that.
All right, so there are not a lot of guys with vocal fry that I've heard. It's mostly a female trait. But on this documentary, Karen Reed herself has the vocal fry. It's that sound where it's like this creaky sound in your voice. And then the female defense attorney for Karen Reed, she's got awful vocal fry. And she's being interviewed, and it's like, well, in the case, we wanted to do this. So she's got it. And then there's a female reporter for one of the local Boston TV stations that they keep going to, and she's got the vocal fry.
Let's hear some example of this. Do you have any?
No, I didn't pull any of the audio.
This is suddenly a very disappointing segment.
I'll tell you what do you mean it's suddenly a very...
you say vocal fry,
I tell you
what, hear it.
Why don't you go and find some stuff online? I'm sure we can probably find something.
YouTube.
Just go to YouTube and type in Karen Reed HBO documentary. Karen Reed. What a Karen. Karen Reed. And I'll tell you what, I think there's enough reasonable doubt. I see why, and I did watch a good portion of the first trial documentary with Michelle yesterday, and I do see why there is plenty of reasonable doubt. And that's all you have to do. That's what a defense attorney does. You have to introduce reasonable doubt that you cannot convict beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not a shadow of a doubt. Never say shadow. That's all TV and movie crap. You don't say shadow of a doubt. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. and plenty of reasonable doubt was invoked and injected by her defense team.
Okay, I don't know if this is going to help you any. But
Vocal fry or not.
This is the trailer.
Okay. Hang on, man. First of all, you gotta hold on. We gotta shut off the.
I'm gonna shut that off.
Shut off
Hold
the
on.
music. All right, just stop. Let me take it
You
from
got
here.
it.
All right, let me turn off
I
the.
love when you take control.
All right, here.
This is funny, Ms. Reed. They've got her guilty already.
So, did you drive your car into John?
Doing this film is my testimony. I
Right
want
there.
to
Oh,
say,
you hear that? Right there. That was Karen Reed. My testimony. I mean, all right, Andrew's got some audio as well. Go ahead, Andrew. What do you have?
I'm going to give you
The makeup of the jury now is 6 women, 6 men.
Oh, you hear that? The makeup of the jury is 6 women and 6 men.
That's the defense attorney.
That was the defense attorney.
Yes.
Roll that back. Roll that exact thing. So it was like driving me nuts. The vocal fry. And folks, if you do vocal fry, please be conscious of it and stop it. Stop with the creaky, the way you speak. If you're doing the and the jury, and a lot of words end with vocal fry, like, yeah, I listened to the MJ Morning Show. And Kim Kardashian kind of mastered this.
Yeah.
And it seems that it was like learned behavior. And a lot of people, this vocal creak didn't really exist like 15 years ago. It's like, this is like a new phenomenon. This whole vocal creak, vocal fry. All right, Andrew, roll that again.
The makeup of the jury now is 6 women, 6 men.
The makeup of the jury is 6 women, 6 men. And once you hear it, it'll drive you nuts. Do you have any more, or is that the only cut that you have? All right, so that just gives you an example. So it's Karen Reed herself, it's this reporter, and it's the defense attorney, one of the women on the defense team.
This judge, they must want to hang themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hang myself, please.
So, Michelle, your thoughts on Karen Reed as the new trial, and these are like 2-month trials. It's like a Diddy deal.
Yeah, there are 8-week trials. I think, I don't know. I look at the evidence, the physical evidence that's there, but there's just so many questions about why the investigation had all of these complications. They didn't collect the evidence properly in the first place. They're putting blood samples in Solo cups.
Yeah. Why are they putting blood samples in a red Solo cup?
And because they didn't have the right investigative, stuff to collect.
Red Solo cup. I filled you up with blood samples from the crime scene.
That's right. It's like a Toby Keith song.
Red Solo cup.
And after that, I think they put it like in a Stop and Shop grocery bag.
What the hell?
And so you can't so the blood was there.
But the chain of custody of the evidence.
Right, like it's just how can you prosecute somebody with that evidence that seems to be so loosey-goosey collected, not even...
Sarge, I got a big gulp here full of blood from the scene. We could use this against the Reed lady.
Right, I just don't, And then the real thing that got me hooked into the case was I was watching it on Friday, or Saturday actually, the time stamping of what occurs or what the vehicle control history of your car versus the infotainment system versus your iPhone and how they try to align all these timestamps is so fascinating.
So on the way in today, Michelle's telling me, the car just recorded that. So I took off from the red light near the 7-Eleven here on 4th Street in St. Pete.
Right.
Getting off at 275 in the 4th Street exit southbound. And then I'm at the traffic light. I get caught by the light at the 7-Eleven. And I had a moderate acceleration leaving the line. And Michelle's like, car just recorded that. You're going to be in trouble. What are you saying? I'm not murdering anybody.
No, but I did not realize. I knew because we had conversations about the car and what it like the history, which I didn't know had a technical name, vehicle control history, and they refer to it in the trial all the time. But it records down to like what angle you accelerate, that you depress the gas pedal at. So like, is it at a 30% angle? Is it at a 20% angle? Is it at a, and I'm like, what? And it's not every single time. There's something has to trigger, at least in this particular car's case, something has to trigger the memory stick or whatever to start, remembering it. But
they were delving into that because
gosh,
because the prosecution is saying that Karen Reed hit the boyfriend, the Boston cop, with her Lexus SUV.
Right.
And did the car record any of the impact?
It didn't. So the car didn't record that impact. And then also she supposedly hit another vehicle or his vehicle in their driveway. It didn't record that impact. So, your vehicle has to experience something, either your acceleration, your braking, you hit something that then gets your memory to start recording it. It's so fascinating.
Festa, why are you going, "Wah"?
I'm new to this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You type in Karen Reed, like R-E-A-D, like read a book, and then you type in crazy eyes and hit images. She's got them crazy peepers, man.
No, she doesn't. It's just that
when she wants to, she does.
There are freeze frames of her.
The one on the second row all the way over.
Yeah, look at that one. That's not right. She's trying to look into your soul.
If you take a freeze frame of anyone, if you roll video on someone, and you take a freeze frame, one frame you capture out of 30 frames a second, you're going to find people with weird eye and facial maneuvers or motions.
And the internet has found like 1,000 of them.
All right, speaking of Dennis Phillips in 4 minutes.
Good.
Actually, 3 minutes. Dennis Phillips live on the MJ Morning Show. Dennis Phillips, ABC Action News. Hurricane season started yesterday. Dennis Phillips joins us live in 3 minutes here on the MJ Morning Show on what he thinks could happen. Just a little discussion. And really, do we really know? We don't. But we'll have Dennis Phillips on, and obviously a major authority on hurricanes here in the Tampa Bay area. Michelle, speaking of trials, can you give us a quick 50 Cent update for where we are? Oh, I'm sorry. P. Diddy. It's the P. Diddy trial, but we have a 50 Cent update. So on the Diddy trial, the 50 Cent update is 50 Cent is how long have they been feuding? How long has 50 Cent been a hater of P. Diddy? Has that been a while?
So
the reason why I'm bringing this up is because 50 Cent is trying to dissuade President Trump from potentially pardoning Diddy, because I guess a reporter asked Trump this last week, something to the effect that, hey, if Diddy's convicted, would you pardon him? Because it is a federal case. And Trump said, well, I'll have to look at everything, look at all the facts. So 50 Cent apparently is saying that he'll do everything possible, that if Diddy's convicted, 50 Cent is saying he'll use everything he can to persuade Trump not to pardon Diddy, to let him rot in prison for the rest of his life. So, you have the actual audio, Fester?
Yeah, here's our president in the Oval Office.
All right, go ahead and roll.
This one's a little bit more of a page 6 question, but back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage.
Yep.
I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty.
Would you pardon him?
The paper all of a sudden, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well.
All right, wait a minute. Would you pardon
him? It's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President. All right, so he would look at it.
He would look at it. That's an answer, not answer. But in The Apprentice, we had the clip we played it earlier maybe last week, where Aubrey O'Day was in Diddy's girl band, and he says, "Oh, you worked for Diddy? Oh, I like Diddy. He's a good guy, right?" And she's like, "No comment," and put her on the spot.
I got to call Dennis Phillips now. Michelle, is there anything other than really that with the Diddy trial from last week?
Well, we had a couple of other people testify. They're just basically corroborating Cassie's version of, how poorly he treated everybody, the sex assault that was occurring across the board. Not just Cassie. It's like everybody who was in his inner circle, every assistant
All right,
was.
so he's a creep. When are they going to tell me about human trafficking?
Well, here's the thing.
When are they going to get to that?
They're building the case.
Nothing they said so far.
They're building the racketeer. Go ahead.
But here's the thing. That's what the defense is going to say. He did these things. Yes, you can hate him for beating her, for raping her, for hitting her, for whatever. But when you start exerting that type of control over somebody, which is what he did, right? So at first she thought it was a loving relationship. I'm going to do these freak offs with you. We're going to be totally, together. But when he starts saying you're going to do the freak offs, or else I'm going to release the video, and we're going to do the freak offs in New York, and you're going to get me the hookers there to do it. Then you got to, the prosecution just has to start connecting those dots. And so every assistant that has come in since then and has said, I was forced to do this. Yeah. I couldn't get out of it because he controlled my money. He controlled my house, or he, whatever he was doing to control them, then that becomes possibly closer to human trafficking.
They're laying these predicates, and they're going to build the case, then connect all the dots. Let me call Dennis Phillips. Dennis Phillips live. Calling DPL, Dennis Phillips live here on the MJ Morning Show.
Where the hell is he?
He'll pick up. Calm down.
Doing a 5-minute forecast?
Calm down. He'll pick up the phone.
Does Dennis have like the 3-degree guarantee?
Remember
when that used to be a thing?
I think that was Dick Fletcher back in.
I remember somebody used to do it.
Yeah.
Please leave your message for 72.
Maybe I misdialed. Hang on a minute. Let me try it again. Hang on a minute. Maybe I misdialed. 7272. All right, try one more time. We were texting last night. I don't know. I don't know if it's looking good here. Hang on a minute. Let me text DPL real quick. Say, hey, I'm trying to call you. Hold on a minute. Calling now. All right, I'm texting him. I think he should recognize the.
Please leave.
Yeah. So we were texting last night. So he was all good for 8:30, which it's 8:30. All right. I just texted him calling now. Hang on. You did not pick up.
He knows he didn't pick up. Yeah. Department of Obvious over here.
So the 2025 hurricane season, which started yesterday, 21 names. We got Andrea, then Barry, Chantal, Dexter. Oh, Dexter could be a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with Chantal.
Yeah, Dexter's going to set up a plastic-lined room.
Wasn't Dexter filmed in Miami?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was. Yeah.
So,
Aaron, Fernand, Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen. Oh, man, a Hurricane Karen. Oh, man, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Then you got Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, V-A-N. And then Wendy. So those are the names. There's a 6-year rotating cycle. And then, of course, if storms are really, really bad, then that's when they, retire those storms.
I remember there was a push a couple of years ago to diversify the names a little more.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like
more inclusive, like DEI or something.
It's like that push. And you look on the list, there's a lot of variety in the names.
Right.
Not all, Hurricane Bill.
You know what? thinking Dennis maybe didn't set the alarm clock. Yeah, because I texted him yesterday and I said, hey.
It is the first day of summer for him, by the way. I mean,
well, that's what he said. He said,
Yeah.
listen, school will be out. I'm going to be sleeping in. I said, if you can do it, what time's good? He said, how about 8:30? I said, that'd be great. You got it. And I said, look for a call from our 727 number. And that was it. So I texted him twice, and I have not seen a return text. So hurricane season started yesterday. There we go. Full update here on the MJ Morning Show.
I mean, honestly, MJ, right now there's nothing going on, nothing pending. But
No.
now's the time to get your hurricane kit together.
Well, this is the fourth year in a row that there has been no Atlantic activity prior to or as the season is launching. So we've had some years where we've had some May activity even before we get to hurricane season. But this is now the fourth year in a row that we do not have any hurricane season or hurricane activity or tropical activity in the Atlantic hurricane basin as we get into hurricane season. But clearly, that's no indication of how the season's supposed to go. And we're supposed to have an above-average season. What are they saying, like 19 named storms?
How do they know?
Well,
this is just total guessing.
It's just, listen, they've got computer models. That's what they're predicting. 19 named storms this season. And as you know, you could have all kinds of conditions. It doesn't mean that those storms are going to hit Florida. It doesn't mean they're going to, hook into the Tampa Bay area again. They could be well offshore in the Atlantic. A lot of the storms historically have curved up into the Atlantic, and they head up into the hurricane graveyard, and they into the North Atlantic, and they never hit land. I mean, that's the way I like it. That's the way I prefer it.
Yeah, let's beat up Bermuda a little bit more.
Stop, Fester.
I mean,
How about you wish nothing on nobody? How about you go with my tact,
If it's
which is
gotta hit something.
No. How about you just go with let's hope they come off of Africa and they curl up into the Atlantic. If you remember, we had Helene and Milton. Helene stayed offshore, but it was the storm surge that whacked the west coast of Florida and put all the water into our area and put many neighborhoods under 3-4 feet of water. That was offshore Helene that did that, way offshore.
Just water surge.
And then, of course, it was Milton that rolled through. And Milton actually came ashore south of us, sort of, Sarasota area. And Milton's the one that, caused a lot of the trees down, a lot of the actual damage from wind-related. It was Helene was the water event and the storm surge event, and Milton was more of the wind event for us. So I'm hoping that we had our brush, because it was 104 years since we've seen that kind of storm surge activity that we saw with Helene. It was 104 years. It was what, 20? Let's see, this was 2024. Was it 103? Maybe it was 103 years.
I'm not really good
so
at math.
I want to say it was 103. I'm sorry, it was 103 years, because the last storm that produced surge like that was back in 1921. So you hear about those 1 in 100-year events. Let's hope that was our 1 in 100-year event, and that we're done for another 100 years. But it could be this season again. Who the hell knows?
So what important items should people have in their hurricane kit, according to meteorologist MJ?
Come on, people know.
Where do they? Where do you
yes.
place baby oil in the importance on your hurricane kit?
What is it? Well, P. Diddy does have a Miami home.
I mean,
so
Astroglide
was baby oil and Astroglide lube part of P. Diddy's hurricane kit?
You're gonna want canned goods. You're gonna want a battery. You're gonna want some flashlights, a weather radio, and baby oil.
Gross.
Now it's a party. Keep your lights out for a couple of days.
I'm bullish. Should I try Dennis one more time?
Yeah, let's try him 8 more times.
Well, he hasn't texted me back.
Yeah,
so
he's probably not awake.
I'm thinking
if he hasn't responded, he's probably not going to answer the phone.
What's he going to respond back? Oh, so sorry.
I think he might have maybe zip right through the alarm. Is what
he's entitled.
What I'm thinking. Yeah, we'll give him one shot. One sleep through this season.
Wendy Ryan would be here if she set it up.
Now, listen, Dennis has been very reliable for many, many times on this show, and I won't hold one tardiness or one missed appearance against him. What are you
like
chortling at?
Like you're a school teacher. I won't hold it against them. Ooh.
Hey, listen to this. We have a woman here in Florida who has started this massive debate. Now, schools were out last week.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday for some school systems, and then Friday, I think it's pretty much finished off that all the kids are out of school now. A mother here in Florida posted a video on social media. This is Patricia Horton. And Patricia, completely unapologetic, didn't have her kids go to school the last couple of days of school. She said, yep, it's worthless. It's senseless. There is absolutely no need for me to send my kids to the last couple of days of school because they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
They do nothing. It's a complete waste. Well, listen, you socialize, you get to say goodbye to your friends for the summer. I think it's part of the it's part of the ritual.
Yeah.
Even though I certainly remember that the last couple of days of school were like it was like a vacation had already begun. You were just doing nothing at school. But this mother started a whole debate. I don't see the point. Most teachers would rather you keep your kids home anyway. Yeah, her kids are 7 and 12. And she said, my parents, they made me go to school every single day, all the way to the very last day, every single year. And she says, I don't see the point.
She's not wrong.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's going on. And she started this whole thing. You know, she put a social media video up, and now the commentary is just enormous. So, Fester.
So here's the mother right now. Here's Patricia Horton.
I did really need it. Go ahead. Play a little bit of her. All right? Play a little bit of her.
Do you make your kid go to school the last week of school? I don't make my kids go to school the last couple days of school. I don't see the point. Most of the teachers would rather you keep your kids home anyway, at least around here. My parents, they made us go to school every single day.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, this is...
Every single day, all the way to the very last day.
I would be on her side more if she didn't have a Southern accent. I don't make my kids go to school.
Yeah. What the hell are you saying?
I can, my kids can read a little bit and can count to 4.
Listen, I
you know, I don't like that because I feel like it's just encouraging a short timer's attitude. So, you know, oh, you're not doing anything at school? How does she know for sure that the teacher's not? And who was she to decide what is important for those children in the classroom setting, that the teacher has structured something like maybe an end of the year celebration and then look at what we've accomplished. You did this.
So,
like a lot of that is developmental for students.
In elementary school, my son's, he just finished 2nd grade. He has grown very emotionally close to his teachers.
Oh,
so he loves his teachers. You know, and he was sure to go in the last day just to have this summertime goodbye. He still goes and says hello to his 1st grade teacher and his kindergarten teacher on a weekly basis, just to because he still feels a bond to them. So there's a lot going on the last week.
And her complaint is that on the last days of her school years growing up, she was made to clean the desks and clean the classroom. There's nothing wrong with showing the student what happens while you're gone. You know, kids have this idea that when they're not around, time stops, but letting them say or teaching them we're going to clean up the classroom so that next year when you come in, it'll be, ready for you and we'll have it all set up. There's some lesson maybe in that at different stages of a child growing up.
I remember elementary school in New York, and we would trash the place. Loose leaf paper down the hallways.
Come on.
The place was a mess.
Man, it sounds like you were a delinquent from the word go.
We did that in high school.
Yeah, but maybe high school too. But high school, I think they cracked down on it. But I remember the elementary years, we were just trashing.
What's the matter with you?
I mean, the janitor had a summer's worth of work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, in high school, we just opened up the lockers and we just threw everything out and tossed it.
Yeah. Great. So just make it miserable for the janitors, the custodial staff.
That's job security, dude.
That's great.
That's job security. That's why I litter.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's
job security for somebody.
All right, so this really took a little while to come out, but there was a battery bank that caught on fire on a Southwest flight that was headed to Tampa last Thursday.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if anyone listening was on this flight, but a flight leaving Baltimore on the way to Tampa was diverted to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Southwest flight on the way to Tampa International had to land in Myrtle Beach because of smoke in the cabin. The aircraft landed without incident. Airport Fire and Rescue met the airplane on the runway. And, I guess there were smoke conditions in the cabin. No injuries reported among the crew or any of the passengers. But according to the statement released by Southwest Airlines, a customer's battery charger had overheated and caused the smoke. The airline said earlier this week that they introduced, and we talked about this, Southwest introduced the first in industry safety policy, and that requires all travelers, all customers on Southwest to keep portable battery chargers visible during the flight. So if you have a battery bank, if you've got one of those portable battery chargers, and we all do, Michelle has one, I have one, Julian has 12, Chloe's got one.
So what, if Julian flies, he has to just have all 12 of them on his lap?
Well, I don't think he brings like 4 of them. All right, but if you're flying on Southwest, I mean, that's the biggest fear of the world, is running out of juice. All right, so if you're on Southwest now, the new policy is that your battery bank cannot be tucked away in your bag in the overhead bin. And their rationale is if it does catch on fire, if it does start smoking and catches on fire, that you might not have it readily available, or you might not witness it, and maybe the thing, starts to really unravel, and maybe there's a fire. What they're thinking is that if you have your battery charger, your battery bank, your power bank in a visible location, that if it starts to like billow smoke, you'll see it faster. And yes, I would agree with that. If it's within your sight and your battery charger, your battery bank decides to start catching on fire, then yes, you will see it if it's in plain view. And that's what Southwest is demanding, right? That's one of my biggest fears.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind that airlines, that's why when you check bags, you have to answer the questions. And even when you're at the counter and you're checking a bag, they'll ask you, do you have any batteries? The problem is that people, of course, are still checking luggage with these battery banks.
I just hit no. I don't even read it. No.
That is one of my greatest fears. Let me tell you right now, folks, if you travel, do not leave a battery bank, a power bank in your checked-in luggage. Because under the airplane, that thing might go into a runaway meltdown, catch on fire, and you're doomed. They can't get to the cargo hold. Some aircraft have the fire suppression systems, but you can't always rely on that to have a fire extinguished. That's one of my biggest fears, and I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet.
I don't understand what happened. Like, what causes it just to spontaneously, combust or start smoking?
Manufacturer's defect, a wiring inside, or one of the battery cells get whacked out of alignment, causes a short or a spark. And those lithium-ion batteries, as you know, you've seen some of the Tesla fires. Some of those Tesla fires, they've taken freaking 4 hours to put out and 35,000 gallons of water.
Yeah, that's why they wouldn't let me check my Tesla.
You know what, you wise ass. Seriously, this is one of my greatest fears is people checking battery chargers, battery banks, power banks in their luggage. Don't do it. Yes, Andrew, I see you're raising your hand.
I believe in some cases you're not allowed to use them on a flight. It's while they're being used that they get hot.
Well, sometimes they explode when they're just idle, like the cars that we've had, or like those drill batteries inside garages. I'm not using my drill, but we're always aware to disconnect it once it's charged.
Oh, you mean like a lithium ion, like a 20 volter, on the bottom of a DeWalt or Makita or something?
The lithium technology is really, really, really good, but it's not 1,000,000,000% good.
Yeah, so the flight that was headed to Tampa, what if anyone listening was on this flight? Anybody? Was anyone on the Southwest flight last week from Baltimore to Tampa, and you had to land in Myrtle Beach because of the smoke in the cockpit from a passenger's battery charger? And again, they started the first industry-wide. You got to have your battery charger in the cabin, in plain view. It can't be in a bag tucked under the seat in front of you or in the overhead bin above you. Southwest said using portable charging devices while stored in a bag or overhead bin will no longer be permitted. Nothing is more important to Southwest than the safety of its customers' employees. Well, apparently there's something else that's very important. That's revenue, because bags do not fly free on Southwest anymore.
No.
A replacement aircraft and crew were called, and it left Myrtle Beach for Tampa later that evening with all the passengers. In fact, you want to hear some of the air traffic control audio? Yeah, this is some ATC audio from the Baltimore to Tampa diversion to Myrtle Beach because of the battery charger lighting up.
Hold position. We have an emergency inbound with reported fire in the cabin.
All right, so that's ATC at Myrtle Beach. Here's one more.
I've got a fire truck set up on most quadrants waiting for an emergency inbound.
Yeah, if anyone was on that aircraft, it's going to be a needle in a haystack. But 800-990-1047, call in if you were on that Southwest flight that got diverted to Myrtle Beach. Maybe it was your battery bank that started smoking and catching on fire. 800-990-1047, 800-990-1047. I wonder if the airline holds the passenger responsible. Do they have to pay for the... That's a good question. I don't know.
I'd throw it into somebody else's seat and be like, I don't know what happened. You better land this bird.
Yeah. I wonder if they hold the passenger responsible if, your battery bank catches on fire and, causes all kinds of, diversions and additional costs. Shocker here, ladies and gentlemen. Mental health information on TikTok is at an all-time high, and the misinformation is out of control, folks. The amount of all these videos, and it's not just TikTok. It's also Instagram as well. Just overall, in this case, this story is about mental health misinformation on TikToks at an all-time high.
Absolutely.
But just information as a whole, the amount of garbage that is just wrong, it's false, it's blatantly wrong, false information. I see it every freaking day on Instagram. I don't mess with TikTok because it's a Chinese spy operation, and you're turning over all your data to the Chinese Communist government.
Yes.
But the same thing exists on Instagram as it does on TikTok. It is completely rife and filled with just false stuff. And on TikTok, TikTok is spreading misinformation by suggesting that there are secret universal tips and truths that may actually make a viewer feel even worse, like a failure, when these tips don't simply cure. Just be careful. Don't get your news from TikTok and Instagram. Yeah. Do not get your medical advice from just the videos that pop up that are blatantly false. AI garbage, or just a real video that just is, it's disseminating just absolutely rank, rancid, false, phony information.
You get your information from the radio, people.
You get your information from the MJ Morning
That's
Show,
it.
because I'm not going to misguide you and mislead you. Exactly. Parents, speaking of airports, airplanes, parents, watch your kid at the luggage belt. Oh, you got to hear this. What happened at a major airport's carousel, the luggage carousel down at Baggage Claim, involving a kid? You got to hear this. Next. And a whole lot more. Man, I'm looking at my pie. We have so much to do in the final hour. Don't move. We're back in minutes on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105, 104.7 FM. When it is roofing time, when it is time for a roof repair, or if you need a new roof, the folks to call are Westfall. We're speaking about hurricanes from last season. If you have any residual damage that's, showing itself now because maybe you have some leaks, maybe you have some underlayment issue that it's occurred, maybe, you've got some damage that is presenting now when we start getting into more of a rainy season. Any roofing damage, or if you need a brand new roof, you want to call Westfall Roofing. Roofs in Florida, average lifespan 15 to 20 years. So many of you are in the zone where it's time for a new roof. If you want a phenomenal company, decades of experience since 1989, If you want a company with very high Google reviews, you want Westfall Roofing. That's westfallroofing.com. They do the work at my house. That's really all you need to know. Westfallroofing.com, and tell them that MJ sent you. If you're making a move, who should you trust? I'm going to tell you right now, you can trust twocollegebrothers.com. If you're moving from one condo to another, you're moving into a house, you're moving the kids out, whatever the deal is, when you need a moving company you can trust and rely on, it's Two College Brothers. Remember, you've got the others, then you have Two College Brothers. So you got to have twocollegebrothers.com. We're here. We've arrived. Spring, summer, this is the busy time of the year for the movers. This is it. And a lot of people are going to end up with a crappy moving company. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't listen, to this program, and they don't. I mean, we're very highly rated. Obviously, we've been number one in multiple instances lately. But there's still people that don't listen. And I'm sorry, they're going to end up with a crappy moving company and get screwed over. That's why you want Two College Brothers. Mention me, MJ. They'll give you free moving boxes. twocollegebrothers.com, the smartest move you'll ever make. 8:56, traffic's on. Here's Shriner with the latest. It is 9 o'clock exactly at the MJ Morning Show. MJ, Fester, Michelle, and the final hour here on a Monday as we enter June. Yesterday, June 1, the start of hurricane season. Still no response from Dennis Phillips. Yeah, he must. It's very unlike him because I don't think he's ever missed an appearance. So I'll give him this one time only.
No, let's call the authorities and do a wellness check.
You know what? Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Maybe we should. I hope Dennis is okay.
Imagine him waking up to the sound of Pinellas County Sheriff's Office knocking on his door.
Yes, MJ Morning Show is very, very concerned for you.
He'll never come on again.
They were very worried about your safety. Kick in the door. Sheriff's Office! You know? All right. You got to watch your kids at the airport conveyor belts, in the baggage collection area. You got to watch your kids at baggage claim. Michelle, a story of something that happened at baggage claim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but Port Authority police had to rescue a toddler from the luggage system at Newark. Newark's got enough problems without parents allowing their kids to jump on the conveyor belt and then ending up inside the whole luggage works, inside of the bowels of Newark. Wow, conveyor belts are not toys, folks.
No, they're not. They're not rides.
It's not a free
joke.
ride. Yeah.
Nobody thinks it's funny.
Can't afford to take your kids to Six Flags in New Jersey? Just take them to Newark and let them ride the luggage belts. Oh, my God.
See, Tampa Airport doesn't have that big network of luggage.
Oh, like Denver, or like a crazy behind-the-scenes system and everything?
Where it's like going down paths and getting knocked off to different...
Well, listen, I think they do. When you check your bags, there's more of a process than when your bags come to you at the luggage belt.
Because they put them on the car or the Jeep or whatever, the trolley.
Yeah, and they the tug, and then they tow those little trolleys with all the luggage all jammed in it, and they pretty much pull that right to the back. See, that's one area where, Tampa International, that's one area where, Tampa International's lacking, is that they're really locked into the old baggage system unless you build a whole new terminal. So at baggage claim, for instance, you don't have a great hall with tall ceilings. I mean, I think my kitchen ceiling is actually taller than the ceiling at baggage claim. It
actually is.
At Tampa International Airport.
I jumped up. I had a running start, but I jumped and I touched the tile. I mean,
seriously. You could touch the ceiling almost at baggage claim. So that's one area where Tampa International is a little more antiquated. Is baggage claim is kind of, tight and low, and it's not...
Do you need a tall ceiling for baggage claim? I'm not sure I understand your complaint.
Listen, I'm just saying that there are many other airports with much larger baggage claim halls.
Well, Tampa's footprint is a stacked airport.
Yeah.
Each different floor.
But Tampa is limited because of the old building and the main terminal. Now, are they able to make some of the newer airsides more modernized? Yeah. I mean, you go to some of the airsides.
The baggage will be the same.
Yeah.
The plane parks.
Right.
But put it on the tug. It goes to the area.
Yeah.
Even when they build the new D terminal. So they're breaking ground for the new D terminal, which Delta is going to be the flagship. They're going to have the bulk of the gates, and it's going to be a state-of-the-art, $1 billion, whatever the deal is, to build the new terminal, which will be open, I think, like 2028 or something. But even then, the baggage is still coming back to the old main building at Tampa International. So that's one area where they're totally locked into that old architecture.
I know this firsthand because in the 90s, long before, things like 9/11 and stuff like that, and the airport really became a tight place, me and a buddy of mine thought it'd be funny to just ride the conveyor belt.
I know, you told us this story.
But I know what the whole back looks like.
You got into airport police hands.
Even at 11 o'clock at night, picking up our friend, they had armed security there.
Oh, yeah. They were drawn down on Fester.
Put your hands up!
They thought somebody had...
Get off the belt!
They thought someone checked the manatee.
Yeah.
You weren't arrested?
Well, no, not. This is probably like 95.
Right. But
they understood just jokes. Great. Thanks for the prank.
I don't think
luggage fun.
I don't think they understood as much as they gave a stern talking to got you out of a lot of things that an arrest would be now.
All right, so let me finish the story. So this is at Newark. 2-year-old boy entered the checked baggage conveyor belt system in Terminal A at Newark Liberty Airport. The kid was apparently swallowed up by the conveyor belt system.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was quick action by Port Authority police that prevented what could have been a really dangerous situation. This happened last Wednesday around 6:30 p.m., according to the Port Authority. This was at the JetBlue counter inside the terminal. A mother was interacting with the agent behind the counter when her 2-year-old managed to get onto the conveyor belt. So
not at luggage pickup.
This was at luggage drop-off.
Yeah.
Where there are more
so
belts.
That's how the kid, because I'm trying to think of Newark if it has sort of that closed system, because a lot of airports have so Tampa has the system where they load the bags and the bags roll around, but then they go back in the back for a little bit and then they come back around.
Right.
Whereas a lot of airports, it comes down a chute or comes up a conveyor and then sits
on the carousel. And
it sits
around.
on the same carousel, just going around and around. All right, so that's what happened with this kid. This kid jumped on the conveyor at the JetBlue counter, and that's how this 2-year-old ended up in the conveyor belt system. It was something that happened in the blink of an eye, said Frank Conti, the president of the Port Authority Police Department's union. Frank Conti, I bet you he's had some relatives that were connected over the years. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you think I got this jab?
So,
my Uncle Louie knew a guy who knew a guy.
You knew a guy, yeah. The conveyor belt leads directly to a chute and into the terminal's luggage screening system.
Here at Newark Airport, we take nothing more serious than the integrity of the luggage and the kids.
The toddler plunged. Listen to this. So at the JetBlue check-in counter, the kid gets on the belt. You know, they have that little belt that that you weigh it, and then it sometimes you got to lift the bag up and put it on the belt behind, or sometimes they have the belt that takes the bag from the scale right to the main belt. The 2-year-old gets on the belt.
Please, pal, let me tell a story.
And gets dropped into a chute going to the screening system.
So at the JetBlue area there, right, this 2-year-old climbs on the belt like a stunad, right? Yeah, and it sucks him right in. And the mother's like, oh.
The mother?
The mother's like, oh. Where's my kid? And I go, oh, listen, your kid's a chooch. So they're getting on the stupid belt there. So then they called me Frank Conti, director of the union and luggage there. And I have a couple of my guys looking for the kid. So kid over there crying his head off.
Some Port Authority cops who happened to be within earshot.
So 2-3 Port Authority cops over there, a couple of packs.
Yeah, on
Port
the
Authority cops.
They were within earshot of the 3rd floor terminal where the kid was sucked down the conveyor belt luggage system.
So they're over here choking on a couple of Slim Jims, and they hit his kid over here crying his freaking head off. And he's like, geez Louise, what the hell is that?
So they sprang into action. The 2 cops were able to move into the system immediately.
So these 2 cops, boom, sprung right into action. They were getting to it.
The fact that the pair thought it was vital, they jumped right. It sounds like they went right down the conveyor themselves.
So they hopped on the conveyor belt, but not before they finished their cigarette.
Right, according to Conti, there was a split in the belts down the chute.
According to me, there was a split in the belt down the chute.
One officer went toward one direction. One officer went the other direction. One of them was able to observe the child as the child was approaching the X-ray units.
So the 2 officers, Officer Vito and Officer Guido, they're going down the
Vito and Guido?
Vito and Guido going down the belt, and they're like, oh, we should split up here now to follow the kid. And one went one way, one went the other way.
Just before reaching the X-ray, the officer grabbed the toddler and pulled him to safety, according to Pix 11 News out of New York. Wow.
I'd love to see video of this because it's all monitored, right? They got to have camera back there. So why can't we see the video?
The toddler's grandfather expressed appreciation for the cops who pulled him out of the luggage system and said that the boy and the mother were fine. Well, of course the mother's fine. The mother didn't go down the luggage chute.
Yeah, well, after
But maybe she was a little mentally rattled.
After they secured the kid, I said to the grandfather, I don't know who's more dumb. Your daughter for losing the kid or you for having the daughter that lost the kid. And he looked at me and said,
But wait a second, it gets better.
What?
The family's from Staten Island.
Let me tell you. There's two things from Staten Island. And one of them's a dump. And the other one's loose women.
No, the other one is Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson's also. So you're going to love this. So the family's from Staten Island. They fly out of Newark. They were headed here to Tampa.
Oh.
So ultimately, they landed here in Tampa after the 2-year-old was all up and through the luggage conveyor belt system.
Yeah, apparently they're going to Florida, right? So they hang out there in Tampa.
Tampa. Going to Tampa.
Florida.
Yeah. Port Authority said they're not releasing the names of the officers involved. Why not?
There's Officer Vito and Officer Guido. I told you
we released that. But Conti, the Port Authority Police Department PBA president, said the cops' colleagues know who they are. He said the whole force appreciates the family's thanks for the officers doing their job. Why would they not release the names of the officers? That doesn't make any freaking sense.
What does it even matter to the story?
But keep your kids away, whether it's at baggage claim or whether it's at baggage drop-off. Don't let your 2-year-old get into the luggage system, which brings us to another story.
Is Frank Conti involved in this story?
No, this happened at LaGuardia, right?
It was one of the New York.
Yeah, it was LaGuardia.
I don't remember if it was LaGuardia or JFK.
A friend of ours. This goes back I think the kid's a college grad now, right?
Oh, he's in law school.
Oh, he's in law school.
Oh, didn't stop him one bit.
This happened 20-something years ago. This is a while ago.
Yeah, like maybe 20 years ago.
20 years ago. A friend of ours, they were, I believe, at LaGuardia, and the kid stuck his finger.
Well, they were at the luggage collection area.
Yeah.
And, you all you get very close to it. And so they were getting closer to it. And he just turned around and sat down. It was just his height, right? He's like 2 or 3. And just as the mom was thinking, that's probably not a good idea.
Kid has his hand
went to
on
grab
the belt.
him.
And
he just stuck his hand down, pushed himself there, and the conveyor belt took a tip of his finger.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I think it started. I think that he sat down when it was not running.
And then it started.
And then he put his finger in, and it was in the right spot, and his little finger got in between something.
Yeah.
The luggage belt starts at LaGuardia and took the tip of his finger off.
You're not going to believe this.
To this day, he was a server at a restaurant, and he worked for tips.
Yeah, well.
No, I'm kidding.
Stop.
I'm kidding.
He's a super smarty pants. He's in law school already.
He's a smart kid. It happened 20 years ago.
Yes.
He's like 3 years old.
Yes.
And now he's in law school. What law school does he go to? Do you know?
George Washington?
That's a good law school.
I can't wait to see his commercials on TV. Hire the 9-fingered lawyer.
No, it literally was like the tip. I don't even think you can notice it now because we've seen them through the years, of course. And it's kind of like a little bit of a joke between us.
Did you lose your tip in the airport? Call me.
You know what? He could do commercials all around legal tips.
Yeah.
And then hold his finger up with the missing tip.
What would his slogan be?
From a tip for you, I don't know. I'm sure there's something.
I've got a tip for you.
Yeah, I got a tip. Well, that's what the legal tips exactly.
Yeah. I was hoping you would say just the tip, but
just the tip. All right, 9:14 at the MJ Morning Show. Yeah, Dennis remains incommunicado. I think it's looking more and more like we should call the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office to do a wellness check to kick in Dennis's door.
I've grown from not concerned to mildly concerned, now to very concerned for Dennis and his well-being.
Yeah, because no, he hasn't texted. Oh man, sorry, slept right through it. I hope he's all right.
Yeah,
he's gonna text you back at the crack of 11:30.
Fester. Good news. Big Lots is reopening stores around the country.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of them's coming to Florida too, right?
Yeah. I don't see any in the Tampa Bay area yet. Hold on a sec. Let's see. So Florida, I'll go through the list here, but a new wave for Big Lots. A bunch of stores will reopen this week. They're bringing back over 70 locations in 9 states. I don't know. I don't see anything about anything reopening in our area. If you look at the Florida list, It's there is one. Brandon.
So the Brandon one's coming back.
And Spring Hill.
Yeah.
Those are the two very local stores. But when I was thinking local, I was thinking like Britain Plaza, South Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing about the Britain Plaza Big Lots opening back up. And I'm going to tell you why Fester's very excited about this in just a minute. But in Florida, Brandon, which is on West Bloomingdale Avenue, Big Lots Brandon is going to open back up. Fort Myers, Milton, North Fort Myers. Oh, Ruskin. Wait a minute. That's another one.
Yeah.
Ruskin. So 3 Bay Area. So Brandon, Ruskin, and Spring Hill. And then you're going to have one that's going to reopen in St. Cloud. Those are the Florida locations. So Brandon, Ruskin, and Spring Hill, Big Lots are going to open back up. And Fester's very excited about this, of course, because behind Big Lots, that's Fester's favorite junk dumping ground.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a refrigerator we need to get rid of or something, let me know. Back when I had a truck, I don't have a truck any longer, but I used to dump everything. I used to dump crap for my neighbors, laundry,
Dude, why don't you let me hook you up with Veterans Ford? Why don't you get back into you drove an F-150, you had the white one, you had the maroon one. Why don't you get back into the Ford F-150 business?
You know what? I mean, I decided a long time, maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago, I was going to take a break from trucks. Drove the big old Lincoln. I drive the big old Cadillac. They don't make big cars anymore.
Do you foresee going back to I'll get you a good deal on an F-150, folks. You just go to Veterans Ford and tell them you want the MJ deal.
Yeah.
Or hurry before the Ford employee pricing ends.
See, now Ford brings back the Crown Vic. That was a big car. That's what I wanted for a long time. Old cop car.
I always wanted the Michael Vick Crown Vic edition.
Yeah, it came with dogs.
Yeah. Dog crates in the trunk.
You know what the horn sounded like? Oof! That's right. That's exactly right. You did know.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So I thought you'd be excited that your Big Lots was where, though?
So the Big Lots closest to my area
in
was
Lutz,
the corner of Bierce Avenue and Florida Avenue.
Right.
And it's now, because it's a pretty big footprint, the big store.
Now it's pickleball courts.
Oh, no.
What is it?
It's an Ollie's.
You know what? I have never been in Five Below. I've never been in Ollie's. What does Ollie's do?
Ollie's it's like a flea market on crack. I mean, it's like just piles of stuff marked super low, good stuff, get good stuff cheap is their thing.
A flea market on crack.
I mean, it's got Ollie's is a hodgepodge of everything. I mean, they have a book section, they have a toy section, they have these cases and they have food products there. It's kind of like a Big Lots with more animation.
Huh.
Flea market on crack.
Julian would enjoy an Ollie's.
Yes. That looks like that Ocean State Job Lot Fair thing that we used to go to up in Connecticut with him.
There's a place in Connecticut we love, and it's called Ocean State Job Lot. I don't know what the hell that means. Well, Connecticut, I believe, is the Ocean State, right? But it's also the Constitution State.
I thought Rhode Island was the Ocean State.
Oh, no, maybe it is. Oh, hold on. What is I think you're right. But they're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think.
Well, we went to one in Massachusetts, too, that one time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Rhode Island's the Ocean State.
All right. I apologize. I was wrong. So,
but it's kind of like what you're describing, Fester. Like, you go in there, they had girls' panties. They also had doormats. Doormats.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie's has everything from outdoor furniture to, you name it.
Listen, I once shot a video. It's on my Instagram if you go back. So, So I'm sorry for my incorrectness. Yes, Rhode Island is the Ocean State, but I also did say that Connecticut's the Constitution State, too. All right, so here's the deal. I go into this Ocean State Job Lot, and within 10 feet of each other, you could buy Christmas lights, a lady's bra, and a freaking kayak.
Yeah, I mean, it's no sense to it.
But it's great. You got to walk through the whole thing.
Is that what Ollie's is like? But then they have a food section.
Yeah, the way you're describing it, it sounds like what an Ollie's is like. I haven't been to the new one near my location yet, but I want to.
But then they have like all kinds of chocolate bars and candies and all kinds of cookies and all kinds of confectionery, and a lot of it is stuff you haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff not from your geographic area or something that they buy in large parcels.
And that's like Ocean State Job Lot. And it sounds like Ollie's. Does Ollie's have a big food section with like aisles of like candies and like stuff you haven't seen? Like, for instance, at the Ocean State Job Lot up in Connecticut, and they used to have one right near where Julian went to boarding school, like, they had like all these like brands of chocolate bars that you've never seen before, and they were good, made in Germany, made in Belgium.
But it's whatever they can put their hands on to buy.
Like in bulk quantity, closeouts or whatever. And I would get like the little English fruit drops there in like a metal tin can. I mean, just all kinds of great crap. Maybe I got to go to Ollie's.
You got to go to Ollie's.
You and Julian should have a father-son trip.
And you know what? Fester described it as a flea market on crack. You smoke crack before you go there.
You know what? You'd only love it more.
Yeah.
I mean, Ollie's is the kind of store that you really would enjoy going to high.
I bet.
You ever go to a place, Michelle? You're like, this is fun, but it'd be more fun if I was a little high.
Well, I'm not gonna because I don't do that. I don't get high.
Doing that.
Say no to drugs, kids.
Listen,
I don't do any. I'm like this without drugs.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, people ask why I don't drink. I go, listen, if I get any more loose, I'm Jello.
Oh, yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't drink.
Yeah. All right, 9:21 at the MJ Morning Show. When we get back, the final chunk of the MJ Morning Show is next. Hey, Michelle, do you know about the wet hair deal? About brushing wet hair?
No.
Oh, you don't know this?
No.
All right, hang on a minute. So if you don't know about brushing wet hair, you got to hear this next. Also, speaking of drugs, the whole Elon Musk drug accusations, and then he's got a black eye. Did you see that?
I saw that. I meant to ask you, is that a black eye or is that a shadow?
I saw an interview with him yesterday on Sunday morning on CBS, and my wife's like, what happened to his eye?
All right, hang on. We got a lot of stuff. The final segment, MJ Morning Show, is next, and we got a lot of stuff on the way. So whatever you do not move. We're back in minutes here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hey, it is a new month, and guess who has a new offer? My friends at Zero Res. You know that you spell it forward and backward, it's the same, ZEROREZ, and then it's backward or forward. It's the same thing. Zero Res is going to get your carpets clean. They'll get your air ducts clean. What is it with Zero Res? It's their process that you really need to pay attention to. They use ZR water. It's an electrolyzed water process. It is patented at the U.S. Patent Office. The other carpet cleaning companies use the chemically soapy, sudsy shampoos. Those leave a residue, and the residue attracts dirt faster. It's just, it's counterproductive, counterintuitive. That's why you want to use Zero Res for your carpet cleaning. Right now, during the month of June, hurry up. This is a once-a-year summer sale, 15% off whatever you want. 15% off carpet cleaning, 15% off air duct cleaning, 15% off area rug cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile cleaning, grout cleaning. Whatever you want from Zero Res, 15% off. Make sure you mention the MJ Morning Show. You can go to ZeroResTampaBay.com online. You can book online, or you can use the website to get the phone number and call them up. But you got to tell them MJ sent you. ZeroResTampaBay.com, 15% off everything. 9:24, traffic's on. Final check. MJ Morning Show back in minutes.
In Tampa.
little Daryl Hall and Dreamtime as our rejoiner bumper. If I were to pick one, and they hate each other now. They're feuding. Hall and Oates, they hate each other like poison, right? If I were to pick one, if I were to side with one, if I were to say, oh yeah, this guy's right, the other's wrong, I got to go with Daryl Hall. I like Daryl's Garage. You ever see that? You ever see? Yeah. He does a thing in his garage. Bands get together and they play at Daryl Hall's house, Daryl's Garage.
Other artists come in. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I would have to side with Daryl over John Oates. He's a son of a bitch. You like that, Michelle? You chortle over there? All right, it is the MJ Morning Show, the final chunk. 9:29 here on a Monday. So, Michelle, you never heard this?
What's this?
That brushing wet hair can cause long-term damage?
Long-term damage?
Yeah, brushing wet hair. You're not supposed to... For those that have a certain routine when it comes to caring for your hair...
Yeah.
Obviously, brushing your hair, that's, a tool. Although I don't use a brush.
Yeah,
because I've got, very curly, frizzy hair.
You use a weed whacker.
I don't use a brush. When I wash my hair gets washed. I put some gel in it, and it just dries naturally. And then even when my hair is dry, you do not use a brush on my hair. You just pick it out.
Oh, I thought you just had like a bad experience with a hairbrush.
And I'm not saying that I have like a black, plastic pick jammed in it like I've got a giant fro.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you did.
Remember back in the day? Remember the black people, whether it's a man or a woman, with a big giant afro, and they would literally have the black plastic hair pick just jammed on in there.
Yeah, you pick it anytime you want.
Kind of like a straw jammed in a slushie or something. Or like a spoon in, an ice cream sundae. You don't see that much anymore. I would like to see the return of the pick jammed in the head. I like that.
It was a solid look.
It was a great look. I loved it. And you always knew where it was.
And the thing is, a thing or two about the fro.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you were in high school,
yeah,
you had the biggest head of hair.
I had a little bit of a fro going on.
No, not a little bit of a fro. An enormous fro.
I had a good-sized fro going on.
The picture's floating around out there.
Well, we put it up on my freaking... Yeah. We had a billboard.
I know.
We had a billboard with my high school yearbook picture in it. Years ago. It was the Class Clowns thing.
The Class Clown Ass Clown billboard.
Yeah, it was Class Clown, and then the CL was crossed out for Ass Clowns. Which is a term that we used quite a bit back in the day. All right, so Michelle, brushing wet hair could permanently weaken hair at the molecular level, according to Dr. Mehmet Erdogan, who is a co-founder of a hair clinic in Istanbul. And also, the whole hair transplant thing is huge in Turkey. Have you seen the videos of like the airplanes coming from Turkey back to the United States? And sometimes you got like 50 or 60 guys that had hair transplants on the plane. Yeah. Yep. So when hair gets wet, it undergoes significant physical changes that can affect its ability to handle stress from brushing. The water causes the hair shaft to swell, Michelle, stretches the cuticle, and makes it more susceptible to breakage. Research has shown that wet hair stretches more than dry before breaking.
Okay, I knew all of that without the science words.
I'm just saying that he says do not brush wet hair.
You need a wet brush. You have to have the proper brush.
But he clarified that just because the hair is wet, it doesn't mean the hair is more flexible and resilient. He says the opposite is true. The stretching damages the internal protein structure, leading to weaker hair over time.
All things being equal, thank you, doctor from the middle of Istanbul.
The brush pulls on swollen, weakened strands, causing them to stretch beyond their capacity. In fact, I think we have a sound of that happening. Right there. Look at that. That was MP3 to me from Istanbul.
Yes, this is an actual hair follicle.
I mean, look, it all makes sense. I kind of knew that. Like, I have a special brush that I use when my hair is wet so that it doesn't get pulled like that.
Right.
Like, that's the whole purpose of when you see them labeled wet brush, right? You don't use your regular brush to brush your hair when it's wet.
Elon Musk. New York Times came out with a whopper of a report. And I know that a lot of people like to kick the New York Times, but I would have to guess if the New York Times publishes a story that Elon Musk does ketamine, ecstasy, hallucinogenic mushrooms, I got to believe that that is fairly well sourced when you're publishing that about the richest guy on the planet.
He's allowed. I mean, he's entitled to do whatever he wants to do.
I mean, is he doing like Matthew Perry levels of ketamine?
But listen to
I think
this.
getting close.
In the report, it said that he took so much ketamine that he can't pee right.
I don't understand that.
I guess it messes with your kidneys. Listen, this is from Rolling Stone. And they're quoting the New York Times report, but this excerpt is from Rolling Stone. The world's richest man made several posts on X denying a New York Times report alleging that he frequently uses drugs. In his post on his social media site X, Elon Musk is letting a New York Times report that he's taken so much ketamine he can't pee right get to him. To be clear, he said, I am not taking drugs, Musk wrote on Saturday. The New York Times was lying their ass off. I tried prescription ketamine a few years ago and said so on X, so this is not even news. It helps for getting out of dark mental holes, but haven't taken it since then. Musk was allegedly taking ketamine, ecstasy, and psychedelic mushrooms during the 2024 campaign. The New York Times reported this on Friday. He apparently used ketamine so heavily that it's affected his bladder.
Oh.
A known issue caused by chronic ketamine use. Sources said that he was using ketamine almost daily, mixing it with other drugs. His usage reportedly troubled those around him. It's unclear whether his alleged drug habit continued when he became part of the Trump administration. But, I mean, those are pretty direct allegations that he does ketamine, ecstasy, and magic shrooms.
I mean, was there any doubt that he used ecstasy and shrooms, magic mushrooms, whatever?
I mean, I think ecstasy's always got people's attention, like, oh, you're doing that kind of drug.
But I think he's been pretty open about his, use of that type of recreational
experimentation type drug stuff.
I mean, look, he's hanging out with that Grimes girl. They had kind of a weird sex life going on.
Hanging out with a lot of girls because he's got 13 different kids, I think, at last count.
So, he's obviously, not going to be just a traditional kind of guy. So the ketamine thing, is that he said he was taking it for depression and maybe he got a little too hooked on it. I don't know. I didn't realize that they prescribed that for depression. I thought that was just a Special K vet drug.
I don't know, but you know what? I'll tell you what, there's some happy dogs.
And then he shows up in the Oval Office with a shiner.
Yeah. What's that? That's what I want to know. What's that all about?
So the timing of everything is crazy.
Yeah.
He did an interview that ran yesterday on CBS's Sunday morning show.
Uh-huh.
And it was taped on
Oh, so you're the only one watching that show.
It's my favorite show.
You know what?
It's a great show.
You know what? I've watched. It's been a little while, but I have enjoyed CBS Sunday Morning.
I fast forward through it. I don't watch it live.
I'm joking around. You know what? I probably should start TiVoing that because, I have enjoyed a lot of the segments and storytelling on CBS with Jane Pauley now.
Jane
right?
Pauley does a great job.
Yep.
Always talks about who died this week. Always find that fascinating. The almanac. Who knew? And but they interviewed Musk in Texas, and he had the black eye, and he insulted. Or he gave his opinions on President Trump's big beautiful bill, right? And then the next day he's out. The timing is so crazy.
That Doge is done.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
Doge will continue.
Trump has clearly begin to either sour or the novelty or Elon Musk has overstepped his welcome. But
the relationship's taken a turn.
But before it was announced that he was leaving, he was already pretty much frozen out. He was already on the way out already.
But none of that answers the question.
Oh, well.
Who gave him the shiner?
He claims his 5-year-old kid.
Yeah, so
he claims he was roughhousing.
That's a pretty solid punch.
Yeah. He claims that he was playing around with his 5-year-old and that he told his 5-year-old to hit me in the face. Yeah, that's a brilliant richest guy in the world maneuver. Hey, 5-year-old kid, just punch me in the face.
And he did, according to Musk.
The hell? Isn't that what killed Houdini, but in the stomach?
I don't think a kid hit him.
No, an adult. I think, I don't think a 5-year-old killed Houdini, but is that urban legend, or did Houdini die? I thought that somebody punched him. One of his tricks was punch me as hard as you can in the stomach, and he would tighten his muscles, and he took a punch, and I thought that it caused some internal issues, and he died from...
Okay, that's a dumb trick.
He died from appendicitis. But what does this word mean? Periodontitis. Periodontitis.
Peritonitis, I want to say, is like an infection.
All right, so he had peritonitis, which resulted in appendicitis.
He did not have Peyronie's disease, as far as I know.
He might have. There's no picture saying he doesn't.
Hang on, let me go to his death, because I want to know if that resulted from. Hang on, let me hit the Wikipedia over here. I don't want to dispel false information, but I had heard that it was due to. By the way, Houdini's real name was Eric Weiss.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Come see the amazing Weiss.
Yeah, not quite the thing. Let me find.
Quite the same.
I got to find death.
All the way down. Usually it's last page.
I know. Death. Come on, here we go. Come on. I'm scrolling. How many freaking pages does he have?
He's lived quite a decorated
Notable
life.
escapes.
MJ, look, you're nowhere near. Look at
Milk Cage. Oh my God.
You're nowhere near the death part.
Let me fast. All these buried alive things, and let me go to his death. Debunking spiritualists. Oh yeah, he used to toy with spiritualists. Legal issues, personal life, death. All right.
Okay.
Houdini died. Oh, that's right. On Halloween. Houdini died on October 31st, 1926, at the age of 52 from a swelling of the abdomen, possibly related to appendicitis, related to punches to his abdomen he had received about a week and a half earlier. Witnesses to an incident at Houdini's dressing room in the Princess Theater in Montreal on October 22nd, 1926, speculated that Houdini's death was caused by Jocelyn Gordon Whitehead, who repeatedly struck Houdini's abdomen. I want to say that was one of the tricks that he would do, is that he would tense his stomach muscles.
Punch me again.
And he
again.
could take punches to the stomach. But yeah, look at that. All right, 9:41 at the MJ Morning Show. We answered all of the Elon Musk questions. So he claims his 5-year-old belted him in the eye.
We've also answered the Houdini questions.
Horseplay, roughhousing.
All of which Houdini would have survived.
And Elon says that he pees fine, that his peeing has not been altered by his ketamine usage.
I don't know how somebody would know that, to report that.
I mean, it's through associates, or through, let's say you work at his doctor's office and he comes in for an appointment.
No, they can't give you that. They can't give that information out.
That's why it's not confirmed. That's why people give that stuff out secret.
I don't know. I feel like that's just. That information makes that whole story seem weird to me.
Now I got to see Elon take a leak.
Right, like who's seeing him urinate, or how does that information even get out there?
I believe everybody has urinary issues unless they prove it. Yes, you do. No, I don't prove it.
Fester believes that everyone has Peyronie's disease
unless I see it.
Unless they should.
I've been saying you have it for years. How do you know? I don't, but I haven't seen it otherwise.
Prove it.
Oh man, I'm just going through the pile here to see what I need to get in today. Who the hell is Sydney Sweeney? And why the hell am I seeing Sydney Sweeney everywhere? Michelle, can you help me out here? Who the hell is she?
She was in the first White Lotus that we watched.
Which one was she?
She was, I think, the daughter, the kind of weird daughter, maybe, I feel like. I don't know. She's not, on my radar, but she's definitely out there and getting a lot of roles.
She's selling soap made out of her bathwater?
Ew, gross.
I mean, that is disgusting. The whole thing, have you ever heard the expression, oh, she's so hot, I would drink her bathwater?
Oh, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. I don't want to drink anyone. If I find the hottest woman on the planet, I still don't want to drink her freaking bathwater.
Joe Mama Johnson used to say that all the time.
No, he did not. Really?
Oh, girl, I drink your bathwater.
No, he did not. Oh, my God.
All the time.
Well, he never said that to me, so now I might be insulted.
Maybe I should call Joe Mama Johnson right now.
Yeah, you know what? He'd pick up and he would say, Joe Mama Johnson, have you ever said, as a compliment, that you would drink somebody's bathwater? And he will say yes.
Oh, that's just such a foul, thought to me. Oh, God, gross.
I'll drink your bathwater.
No.
I'll drink it up.
What if he has the same phone number? I haven't called Joe Mama in years.
It's like that movie.
All right, hang on. Andrew, pick up line 2. See if Joe Mama Johnson picks up.
Pick it up live.
Yeah,
what do you think his number is?
I don't know.
Old lady out in Lake Wales?
I don't know if it's still. Just ask if it's Joe Mama Johnson and tell Joe Mama Johnson it's the MJ Morning Show calling. Yeah, but Sydney Sweeney apparently is selling bath soap made from her actual bath water.
I'll tell you what.
That is, so she soaks in bath water?
Mm.
And then they use this water
to
produce the soap bars.
It's like that movie Saltburn. Do you remember that?
MJ, she will become super rich over this. They will be creeped out by this.
Gross.
$8 a bar. Sydney Sweeney selling bath soap made from her actual bath water. $8 a bar. I guess it's a collaboration between her. Oh, she was also in that Euphoria.
Yeah, I haven't watched that. I mean, I don't even know if it's coming back. I think we watched the last season that was produced. It's been delayed. They claim it's coming back, but I'm not sure.
All right, so she was in Euphoria, and then she was the daughter in
White Lotus.
White Lotus season 1?
Yeah, I think so.
The soap bar will be available starting June 6th at drsquatch.com.
What an obscure site.
Introducing Sydney's Bathwater Bliss. Very, very limited edition soap made with her actual bathwater. So what? She takes a bath and they put all her bathwater in a barrel?
Oh, this Dr. Squash. I've never used it.
No, my son, Julian.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Julian loves Dr. Squash.
I've never seen Dr. Squash.
Michelle, doesn't Julian have a Dr. Squash subscription?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a soap subscription.
Yeah, well, guess what? J-Dog's going to be getting some of this Sydney's Bathwater Bliss.
Not unless he orders. That's not part of his subscription.
He's going to order it.
But this sounds gross. I'm sorry. I don't want anyone's bathwater. The hell?
But if I were gonna, she's a contender.
Only 5,000 bars will be produced. So they're limited edition collector's bars, $8 a bar.
Okay.
And I guess you can order on their website starting on June 6th. All right, so this thing's going to be, what, $800 a piece up on eBay within hours?
I mean, who's gonna use it if it's a collector's item, you know?
Yeah.
Sure, it smells fantastic, though.
I'll tell you what, you might want to grab these things. This could turn into a money-making venture. But listen, Sydney Sweeney, she's not like a huge celebrity name.
Yeah, she's not Jennifer Aniston.
Hope she didn't pee in that bathwater.
Oh, stop. This gets grosser and grosser.
If I'm buying that soap bar, I'm hoping she did.
I got a Baby Ruth floating in that bathwater.
No problem.
Got a Three Musketeers floating on top of that bathwater.
Listen, you got an Amber Turd working in that bath.
That's the next collaboration.
Did I say herd or turd? What did I say?
Amber Turd herd. All right, from what time is it? 9:04. Oh, we got to get out of here. Quickly, box office over the weekend. Lilo and Stitch. I mean, kicking the living snot out of Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, Tom Cruise. It's over $100 million in the U.S. at this point. But Lilo and Stitch brought in another $63 million over the weekend. Domestic gross is $280 million already on Lilo and Stitch. Globally, $610 million. Disney is thrilled. And then Mission Impossible 8, second place, brought in $27.3 million.
Well, Disney really needed this bounce back because, they had that awful Snow White.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Snow White was a disaster. But Mission Impossible, the new Tom Cruise, domestic box is now $122.6 million. And they're saying it's actually performing in line with the previous installments. I guess I thought that the other Mission Impossibles were much bigger box office smashes than what they really were. But globally, Globally, the total box office take is $353.8 million, and that's against a budget of allegedly $400 million to make Mission Impossible 8, the final reckoning.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. Oh, you know what's supposed to be awful?
What?
Wax on, wax off.
The new Karate Kid
we're going to
movie?
go see that.
Oh, it's supposed to be awful.
No, Julian and I are going to go see it.
No, do not.
Why not?
Apparently, it is awful. Karate Kid Legends is supposed to be, you would enjoy sitting in gorilla poop, apparently more than going to see this movie.
I mean, if that's an option.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, look at this review. You are better off tripping and falling face first into llama vomit than going to see Karate Kid Legends, according to this review. New York Post reviewer says, awful Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan sequel KO'd my will to live.
Aww.
It KO'd my will to live?
Here's the thing about Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
He's always had, and he's an old man.
Yeah.
He's always had a youthful look.
Uh-huh.
And I saw the commercial for this movie.
Yeah.
And he looks like an old man now.
He does?
Yeah. It was like, I didn't even recognize him at
How
first.
old is Ralph Macchio now?
He's like 104.
Is he like 64? Now, how old is he?
Ralph.
Not Ralph Lauren.
Ralph. It was a
63.
63.
Oh,
63.
I said 64. That was a hell of a guess.
But in his mid-60s, when the movie came out, he was like portraying a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old, whatever he was, 14, 15 in high school. And he was like, 30.
Yeah.
He was sitting there smoking with all the other senseis, him and Pat Morita. Sitting back there having shots between takes.
Wax on, wax off. Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, the tomato meter for Karate Kid, 59% for the new movie.
Okay, that's not terrible.
That's audience, right?
Yeah, no. The tomato meter is the critics.
Oh, I'm
What's
sorry.
the popcorn meter?
59% critics, and what's the
popcorn meter, which is the fans, the viewers, 91%.
What the really?
See, I don't know what you're reading.
That's one of these. There was another movie a couple of months ago that the nostalgia of it, carried it with the fans and all these hoity-toity critics. Oh, it's an abomination to film, and everybody who went to see it liked a good movie. What was the other movie?
Listen,
like 6 months ago.
I'm just saying that the reviewer for the New York Post, this Johnny Olakinski,
he sucks.
He says he'd rather die than watch this movie.
Well, good. You know what? Boo. Go ahead. Buy him a coffin. Where's his hearse?
Said it sucked the life out of him.
I'd rather Olakinski die.
Anyway, all right. So you're going to see the movie with Julian?
Yes, of course.
Well, he's part of the AMC club,
Right.
so he gets what? He gets free movies?
Yeah.
Or whatever?
Well, it's not free because you pay your monthly
you do pay.
subscription.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah, I think that other movie was Minecraft, where the critics gave it 48%.
Yeah, the critics hated it, and
Oh, yeah.
everybody loved it and saw it. It went crazy.
All right, 9:51 at the MJ Morning Show. I think we probably got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you see what Jason Sudeikis did? Jason Sudeikis, who I like, from Ted Lasso, of course, years on Saturday Night Live. You see what he did?
What?
So I didn't know this, but we found out last week that Jason Sudeikis' uncle was George Wendt.
Yes.
Norm from Cheers.
Yes.
So at the funeral, did you hear what he did?
What, do you have a beer?
Nope, he jumped out of the side in a red Adidas tracksuit.
Off a ladder.
Yeah, doing the,
doing his little dance.
Doing the whole dance and everything off of a ladder. Yeah, he jumped from the ceiling.
Mm.
No, he didn't. But he did.
He did what?
Broke his silence about George Wendt's death.
Yeah.
My uncle is dead.
He
Ted
paid
Lasso.
tribute, is what I should actually say.
Okay.
So.
Did he do anything remotely entertaining, or did he just acknowledge the passing of a relative?
I tell you what, during the eulogy, he ought to jump out of the ceiling in a red Adidas tracksuit. Like, what up with that? That's what he should. That's what he should do. All right, we got to
keep
roll.
saying it like it's his most iconic thing.
Oh, I love that.
I know you
to
love
me, that is the best freaking thing. He's dressed up like a white rapper.
Yeah, we know. It's an obscure little one-off part that he plays, and you always mention like it's his best thing.
That's his best thing ever. Ted Lasso. Jason Sudeikis not saying a word, jumping out of the ceiling in a red Adidas tracksuit with gold chains on. That's the best. That's the best part he's ever played. I like Jason Sudeikis. All right, we got to roll. Anything else when we get out of here?
Nope.
There's still no word from Dennis Phillips.
Wow.
I mean, I'm guessing we'll have Dennis Phillips on tomorrow.
Well, you know what?
Third day of hurricane season.
Don't bet on it.
Maybe I did something.
Maybe you did.
I don't know. All right, 9:53, we got to go. Folks, have a great day. It is the MJ Morning Show on Q105, 104.7 FM. Oh, my Instagram. Give me a follow. Certified MJ Radio. My email. Need to get a hold of me. MJ@MJMorningshow.com. Also, my DMs are always open on my Instagram. Have a great one, folks. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the MJ Morning Show, and let's be careful out there.
Download the app now. Get the Q105 app and listen to us anywhere. Powered by Anna Jar and Levine.